Welcome back, everyone. Give me a quick second while I finish this cookie. Oh, I went to the refrigerator. The juice I had was apple raspberry. That's why it tasted different, because I've never had apple raspberry. Okay. We're gonna continue our adolescence with a birthday. Whose birthday is in the summertime? Hold on. Whose birthday is this? It was a pleasant afternoon. The sun shone brightly, and the breeze tugged lightly at the balloons strung around the park. It must be Homeboys, or Lily, or whatever her name was. I forgot her name. It has to be one of those two. Ethan Cove had just been dropped off at Miranda Eckert's birthday party. It's neither of them. I should have just kept reading. I'm back. I am back. You're back too. Candy Joel Tax. Thank you for the Candy Joel Tax, Lune. Candy Joel Tax is absolutely nothing. I just acknowledge you more. Thank you. You didn't really know Miranda. Last year was the first you had a class with her, and everyone at school knew her as quiet. The shy girl stuck to her own friend group like glue. Miranda sounds like me. Glad you're back. I hope you're doing well. Did you have a nice short break? It has been a surprise that she was having such a big party. I went to go charge my phone, and I forgot to go get my phone, so my phone is not near me at all. I should probably do something about that, but maybe I shouldn't. Maybe it's just nice to not have my phone. I looked around at the expensive park, a spacious recreation center in the next town over, and noticed a bouncy castle. Ooh. Miranda had a bit of a reputation for not caring if she acted mature like other teens sometimes did. We love Miranda. We stan Miranda. It made a certain amount of sense that her party would match that. We love to see it. You thought Miranda was sweet. You thought Miranda was weird. You'd have an opinion on Miranda. You wanted to get to know Miranda better. I want to get to know Miranda better. Let's be friends, Miranda. Maybe at this party you'd have a chance to make friends with her. You were excited at the thought. You hadn't had a chance in coming here today. Your mom's insisted on it. Oh, I didn't have a choice. Oh my gosh. You hadn't had a choice in coming here today. Your mom's insisted on it after you got the invitation, as did Cove's mom and dad. How did we get the invitations? Did she just like come to our houses and give us the invitations? Okay, weird. Actually, how did they do that? Did people do that when they have summer birthdays? Do they just like give invitations, just show up to people's houses? Because I never had a summer birthday, obviously. My birthday's in April. My brother had summer birthday, but we had phones then. They have phones here. They just don't have like cell phones. Guess I should have called, but how did she get our numbers? Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm thinking too much about this. So both you and he were driven over to the next town with presents in tow. All the parents have been pretty firm about going to a birthday if you'd been invited. You agreed it was best to attend. You wondered if it was an adult thing. You were happy to be here. You wish you were somewhere else. You felt out of place. I'm willing to give it a chance. Sure, why not? You had just arrived at the party after all. You couldn't see the future. It could turn out to be fun. It could turn out to be a disaster. You would wait and see. Him in his glasses and his gecko shirt. I can't. Cove made a small noise which caught your attention. He looked around, scanning the area. He fidgeted with his gift in hand. Any idea what we're supposed to do with these? You looked at your own present and then towards the seating area. There was a table filled with snacks and drinks, supplies for various party games. Past all that, you spotted one table in the back that seemed to have a truckload of gifts. You pointed it out to Cove. Let's drop the presents off over there. Cove nodded with a smile and turned. He is so in love with us. Like, look at the way he's just looking at us. Oh my god. Cove nodded with a smile and turned to where you gestured. He saw it too. Cool. You and Cove began to walk over to the present table, flattening the well-trimmed grass beneath your feet. You walked past groups of people, classmates in semicircles broken up into the usual friend groups, chatted away. You, or maybe Cove, received the occasional greeting or friendly nod. However, as you passed by even more people that you had never seen before, you became aware that there were more strangers here than not. It was more crowded than you expected. Miranda Eckert, the quiet girl, was hosting the most populated birthday party you had been to in a long time. I mean, we don't know what Miranda does outside of school. It's probably family here too. Because you know family, they love inviting themselves to things that they were never invited to. You looked at the new faces and thought you saw something of Miranda in them. Cousins, nieces, or nephews, maybe? Parties could be a big deal in her family. How do we know that? The both of you reached the table. You set your gift down in an empty space, brushing some confetti aside, and Cove placed his gently next to it. He looked at the present thoughtfully. Hey, what'd you get her? None of your goddamn business, Cove. Before you had a chance to answer, Cove opened his mouth again and tapped his gift. I found this sparkly backpack. I figured she could use it for school or a trip or something. That is not a gift. Okay, you know what? Go off, King. Maybe she would like that. I don't know her that well. Your parents are taking you out shopping the other day. You searched through the store and ultimately you picked out a stuffed animal. You picked out a necklace and bracelet set. You found a lighthearted adventure book. No. I would get her a stuffed animal. She seems like the type of girl who would like that, and I appreciate that because I also like stuffed animals. But then again, depending on the stuffed animal, sometimes I don't vibe with the stuffed animal. Like, we don't kin. We're not kinning. The wide eyes of the otter plush had called to you. Aw, it's an otter. You weren't sure what in its face made you think of Miranda, but it seemed appropriate. Your mom had agreed that it was a fine present and Ma helped you wrap it. You described it to Cove briefly and he had no objections. Not a bad idea. He brushed his hands against the sides of his pants. I really hope Miranda likes her gifts, but I think we both did good. With that, he gave you a sunny grin. You touched the gift one more time and then stepped away. Without the direction of needing to put stuff away, the two of you weren't sure what to do next. You felt a little awkward, and Cove shrunk in on himself as you looked around. There were more guests heading to the present table, so you turned away and wandered over to a nearby tree where you wouldn't be in the way. From there, you both inspected the area and planned the next step. You were glad that Cove had been invited too. At least you had his company in this unfamiliar place. Okay, I had to check real quick to see if my mic was my mic was on. I'm always checking because I'm like, what if my mouth is just moving and no one can hear me? You watched him and he gave you a nervous grin. It reassured you a little and you smiled back. What's next? Cove did not appreciate being put on the spot. He was just as unsure as you were. Birthday party stuff? It didn't seem to be the time for cake, but with the people still arriving, nothing else seemed to be organizing yet either. He noticed that himself and tried again. We could find Miranda. That was an idea. It made sense to greet the birthday girl. Okay, we could say hello. Wish her happy birthday? Ask her what she wants people to do? With the point, it was decided. The Miranda hunt had begun. You wandered around. Anytime you saw someone with Miranda's hair color, you got a little closer, but more than once it turned out not to actually be her. What is her hair color? What hair color do we think she has? Hey, look, I'm getting like, when I hear Miranda, I think Miranda Cosgrove. So this is who I'm picturing. Miranda Eckhart is Miranda Cosgrove. Finally, he pointed over to the real Miranda. She smiled slightly when you both approached, but ducked her head. She seemed a little overwhelmed with being the center of attention today. Oh, that's not... Ariana Grande, is that you? Hi, Cove. Hi, Princess. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Aw, she's so sweet. I love her. This is my new best friend. Bye, Cove. I don't want to play with you anymore. You all stood awkwardly. Miranda did seem genuinely happy, but there was still a distance between you. This is a great-looking party. Thank you. Is there something we need to do, or should we just hang out? Not Not them getting a voice actor from Miranda. Oh, what is that face? I'm not a fan of that face, Miranda. And the bounce house should open later. If you feel like jumping, then after that, it's cake and present time. We'll have ice cream too. After that is when people will start going home. I hope that's okay with you guys. Cove nodded. He seemed a little more confident about the situation now. Thanks for letting us know. You grinned at her and she nodded back. Miranda waited there and you became hyper aware of the silence forming. Miranda's so goofy. I love her. You heard a shout for Randy and Miranda. Not Randy. Why is that your nickname, Miranda? And Miranda brightened up a total 180 with how stiff she had been with you. Okay. Bye, Randy. The birthday girl ran off to her friend, leaving you and Cove with at least a little more idea of what to expect. You both glanced at each other wordlessly. Hey, Cove, did you remember a single thing she said? Because I was not paying attention. You felt a little disappointed. It was going to be hard to get to know Miranda better with how in demand she probably was going to be today. Hopefully, you would get to talk with her. All that was left now was finding something to fill time until the activities began. You tried to chat with the people around, you just talked with Cove, you found a quiet spot to sit, you stood around where you were. Let's go find a spot to sit. Cove followed you to the edge of the party. He pointed out a bench near a tree and you both sat down. It was far enough away from the crowd that it was peaceful as long as you blocked out the sound of kids shrieking. Suddenly, a loud voice boomed over the crowd. The constant buzz of conversation dropped as one of the adults, maybe Miranda's dad, asked the kids to gather around because it was game time. I wonder what's gonna happen. You shrugged, you scanned the area to make a guess, made a joke about something that wasn't gonna happen. I'm gonna make a guess. I saw a picture of a donkey hang on the tree, a table with a lot of candy, and even more balloons. I guess we could be playing pin and tell on the donkey. Ooh. I don't think I was ever good at that game. But I do want prizes. I doubt it. Why are you doubting it? Then what do you think that's about? You pointed to the poster and the teller's donkey. He shook his head. I've never seen anyone play that in real life. People play that in real life. Have you guys played that in real life? I've definitely played it in real life. Back in my youth. When I was younger. We don't play games like that at parties anymore as adults. So lame. I hate adult parties. Boo. It's so boring. I don't want to listen to your shit taste in music. I want to sit down and talk. Let's play fucking games. Let's be fun. Let's do shit. The adult announced that the children under 10 had the first turn on the bounce house. For everyone else, it was time to play pin the tail on the donkey. You called it. Cove raised his eyebrows. He was surprised for sure. You were excited. You thought it was kind of silly. You were a little weirded out. You were fine with the game. I'm fine with the game. I'm fine with pin the tail on the donkey. You didn't have anything against pin the tail on the donkey. It would probably turn out okay. You casually stepped up to join the line. The donkey in question was a cartoony poster with big eyes that looked more like ping pong balls. It was positioned a few feet above the ground on the tree trunk. The teen who arrived first was blindfolded and then spun around. He was nudged to the side and away from the other kids so he wouldn't stick someone with the tail instead. Okay, yeah, good. That's kind of dangerous. You should have people, back up. Unfortunately for him, he placed the tail on the donkey's head like some kind of bizarre earring. He wouldn't be running that far from the target. Ooh, okay. The next opponent did far better by landing it on the donkey's back. The spectators clapped politely and the line moved up. Get it. I hope I win. I want to win something. More teams tried their hand at it. Some got closer than others, but no one had gotten it perfect yet. Soon, it was Cove's turn. Cove, win me some candy. He was blindfolded and spun just like the others. At this point, it was a close match and everyone was watching with bated breath. Cove approached the donkey and stuck the tail on without any hesitation. Cove stood back and removed his blindfold, cheering when he saw how close he was. He turned his head over his shoulder and grinned at you. Yes! Good job, Cove! Get mama some candy. Your turn. You shook your head and stepped out of line. I'm gonna take my turn. Man, I'm not playing games here. I'm playing games here. With the blindfold on, the bright park became utterly dark. As you were spun around, the sounds around you seemed to get louder. At least you could tell the direction of the bounce house from the shrieks of the younger children. What if I pinned the tail on the bounce house? You think they would make me pay for that? You stop spinning and stepped forward, tail in hand. It was time to give it a stab. You place it directly in front of you, place it to the right, place it to the left. You reached and placed it up. You bent and placed it downwards. And placed it to the left. You pressed it down to the target and stepped back. You took your blindfold off to check your results. There was some more clapping from the audience. The tail wasn't too far off. Behind you, there was a particular enthusiastic "ooh," and a few people mentioned how close you got. You smiled and looked back at Cove. He seemed amused. His tail wasn't off by much either, and you couldn't tell which of you was winning. They were just too nearby each other. A few more kids took their turn. One girl managed to somehow pin the tail on the opposite side of the tree. Oh, bless her heart. It was sure it had to be on purpose. Okay, well, if she did it on purpose, then fuck her. With the line empty, the game was finally over. The adult running things starts to inspect the donkey. At this point, the sound was more tails than donkey. In the end, Cove was announced the winner with lots of smiles and applause. He grinned and seemed pretty proud of himself. He was handed a fist full of candy from the man in charge. Cove needed both of his hands to accept it all. Give me some of that candy. Thanks. He took the candy into his pockets. You know what? That's fair. They do give boys bigger pockets than girls. So unfortunate. It filled more than one. Of course it did. Congratulate Cove. You're just when you didn't win. You were really impressed with his win. And I'm just gonna congratulate him. Why would I tell him he looked cute? That's weird. That's weird. It's not the time. You did really good. Thanks. I feel kind of sorry for the donkey though. You both looked at the multi-tailed monstrosity and winced as you pictured how that would be on a real life creature. Don't imagine that. Don't imagine that. You asked if he'd be willing to share the prize. Yeah, gimme. Some of the treats looked really good. Surely he didn't downsize his prize. Surely if he didn't downsize his prize, it was just going to fall out of his pockets anyway. Can I have some of the candy? He shoved his hand inside his pocket and pulled out some of his candy back out. It's not like I can eat it all. You smiled and chose a few of your favorites. You made sure to leave Cove the candies you knew he liked best. Okay. This is fun. We're sharing candy together. Friendship, love. Another teen walked up, tall enough to tower over you and Cove. Ooh. You felt a little intimidated by this stern-faced teenager until she started to speak. Her voice was low but friendlier than her tough frown would suggest. Hi, I'm handing out party favors. Do you want one? She showed you party hats. She insisted they were the key to a true partying mood. Give me a hat, girl. Give me a hat. She had two options, either a colorful headband with two tiny party hats arranged, almost like ears, or a tiara with a star on it. They were both very festive. No thanks. You knew the teen hadn't actually glared at him. Her default facial expression just seemed grim. Is she me? I want the crown. You pointed to the crown and the teenager passed it over to you with the sullenness of crowning a monarch. Thank you. Then you encouraged Cove to pick one. Get one. You held a pink headband hat in one hand and a crown in the other. You tried to imagine what they'd look like on Cove. You should really try it. It'd be great. Cove looked back on the hats and then at you. With a sigh, he grabbed a hold of one. This is how I know I got him. This is how I know I got him. Because he wouldn't do this if he didn't like me back. I know how boys work. I say, having a boyfriend who told me how boys work. I was like, because I ask Gil to do stuff for me all the time. I'm like, thank you. But I know, like, he wouldn't do that for me, like, certain things, if he didn't like me. So yeah, I know how boys work. I know about boys. With a sigh, he grabbed hold of one. The teen with the hats clapped as much as she could with all the hats in her hands. I love this teenager. The unknown teenager nodded approvingly as you both and went to pass out hats to more people. You put the party hat on your head with a smile and it fit well. It was surprisingly comfortable. It really completes your look. When did you get so fashionable? He smirked and you just adjusted your new accessory. Fuck off, Cove. It does look very good on me. Thanks. I mean, that's so many people. I mean, yeah. That's why we went away from the crowd at first. Because my social anxiety would not have allowed me to get any closer unless I had my mind on the prize, had my eye on the prize. I wanted the candy. And now we can go back to being losers in the corner. Would I do half the shit I do for my girlfriend? Hell nah. Exactly. Gil does not know how much I love him. Because this guy. Just this guy. We're fighting every day. We're not fighting. Stuff that he does, it's a lot. And it's not easy. But if I didn't love him, I would not do it. You looked him straight in the eye, and he seemed unsure of how to handle that reaction to his statement. He floundered for a second until he came up with a response. Like the chores, oh my gosh, the amount of chores that I do. I want to fight him every day of the week. Anyway, where was I? You don't have to brag. You struck a pose, and he rolled his eyes. Oh. I was not expecting that. Okay. Cove finally put his own hat on. He was nervous about it, his face uncertain. I don't know about this. I feel kind of silly. Does it look weird? Oh, 100%. You look very silly and weird, and you're keeping it on. You look great, buddy. So many chores. Go put your laundry in. I'll be here. I need to do laundry too, actually. You know what? No, I don't need to do laundry. Gil needs to do laundry. But I'll do it anyway because I love him. Oh. Ugh. I'm a giggle. Hey, what's that for? After that, the people in charge quickly set up the next game. Teenagers milled about until they were told to find partners. You tried to listen to the rules, straining your ears to listen to the adult announcing what you were supposed to do. It was a simple game. One person in a pair would throw candy while the other had to catch it in their mouth. I'm losing that game. I have shit aim, and I have terrible reflexes. We are not winning this one, buddy. If they caught it, the pair would move on to the next round where everyone would take a step back and the former catcher would become the thrower. The game would continue, the players getting further and further until one set of partners were the only ones left standing, or everyone lost in the round. About half the guests had already found partners. They moved fast. You noticed Cove had his eyes on you. Could we be partners? Neither of you were all that familiar with anyone else here. It'd be a safe choice to pair up. You know what? I don't want to play this game, Cove, but I like you, so fine. I'll be your partner. Let's do it, partner. He beamed and he started wondering about your respective candy catching capabilities. Baby girl, we're not winning this. I'm sorry, we're losing in the first round. Two rows of players facing each other formed. Cove tilted his head towards them and he started to head over. Oh, you're so close to the screen. You both lined up directly in front of each other. It took a while to pass out the candy. You were handed a small bag of gummies that smelled strongly fruity. Gummies, you say. You notice Cove took it upon himself to do a taste test of the red ones across from you. What flavor are they? Are they strawberry or are they cherry? They're not bad. I didn't ask that. I asked if they were strawberry or cherry. You just waited, you tried one for yourself. What did it taste like? Raspberry or cherry? It's red, so there's different. I can't have cherries, but I can have raspberries. I used to be allergic to raspberries, but the allergy left. It left. And now I enjoy raspberries. Well, not eating them. Like, I love artificial raspberries. But I can't have cherry. Strawberry? Maybe pomegranate? It was a mystery. Maybe get a red one later. I'm not chancing it. And then it was time to begin. Cove's row was set to throw first. He smiled nervously, his eyes wide with seriousness. You grinned and Cove's smile looked more genuine and less filled with tenseness. The game was on. The adult in charge shouted for the throwers to go. You and Cove were only a couple feet away from each other. With Cove's careful toss, you caught the candy easily. Oh my. That would never happen in real life. Like you, most of the other players moved on to the next round. There were a few gaps in the rows as everyone took a step back. The round was harder, with pairs further apart, but not overly so. It could be done if both partners tried. You did your best as you tossed it, you had fun with it, but still tried. You did the candy without a care. You made sure it missed. I'd only do that if I was mad. You know what? I'm gonna try my best. You carefully plucked a gummy from the bag and felt the weight. You shifted it in your hand a couple of times for practice and then told Cove you were ready. You went for an underhand throw, careful to aim for Cove's mouth. The blue candy arched and landed perfectly in Cove's mouth. Oh my god, look at me go. Look at me go. Am I not clumsy in this universe? He chewed it twice and then smiled widely. Oh my gosh. You could tell Cove was genuinely pleased to make it through another round. You were happy as well. I don't appreciate this face he's making at me. The next round began and you took another step back. Cove was even further away now, but he made an okay sign. He was in this to win it. Around you, the once packed rows of players had thinned out some. You wondered how many rounds everyone had left in them. I don't have a single one left. We did too many. Cove swung his arm and made eye contact with you. You nodded and the green candy flew towards you. You tried your best to catch it. You casually tried to catch the candy. You refused to have green candy in your mouth. What? Green is like the second best flavor. I tried my best to catch it. I'm not wasting this tasty candy. You followed the arc of the candy and opened your mouth wide. It had a slight spin on it and you tilted your head to the left to compensate. You bit down the candy, grinning with your victorious catch. Why was that so difficult for me to get out? It tasted sweet and vaguely like a Slurpee. Ooh, I love that. Yeah, princess. Cove was thrilled. He was entirely invested in this game at this point. You and Cove were still in the game. You knew this was the final round. Only a few other pairs were still left. Cove was determined to win. He could see it on the clench of his jaw, the careful way he watched you. You were charmed by his attitude. You equally wanted to win. You didn't want to let him down. You thought this was kind of funny. You felt nervous under the pressure. I'm between nervousness and charmed. I love a man with passion. But you know what? I'm also a bit competitive. I'm a sore winner and a sore loser. So just don't play games with me and it'll be okay. I'm between these two now. So I'm trying to put myself in the situation. If I was playing this game with my crush, I want to win. I want to win. I don't want to be distracted. I want to win. I want to win together so he'll like me more. You made it in this far. It was time to go all the way. You looked around at your remaining competitors and prepared yourself. Cove gave you a firm grin and you prepped to throw. Your fingers grabbed an orange gummy from the bag. It felt solid in your grasp, even if your hands were starting to get sticky from touching all the sugary sweets. Ew. Ew. Where's the hand sanitizer? Cove leaned his face towards you and bent his knees ready to catch. The time came. You looked at the candy and then Cove. You tried your best, you threw it casually, you messed up your throw on purpose. I'm not messing it up on purpose. I'm in it to win it. I gotta push it to the limit. That's what Corbin Blue said. You heard him make a small squeak and Cove blinked as the orange candy bounced off his face. No! You laughed. Cove's expression was just too priceless. I'm sorry I let you down, Cove. I'm sorry. Both of you were out of the game, so you walked over to the crowd of other people who lost. The game wrapped up and you clapped for the winning pair. Two tiny girls around your age. They were handed more candy as the prize and everyone dispersed from there. With the candy toss over, you were going to need something else to do. You didn't have to wait long. You heard someone in the crowd shout that the bounce house was officially open for older kids. You and Cove shared a look. Cove smiled and you knew he wanted in. I do not want to go into this bounce house. Not with all these kids. Kids are evil. If you fall down, they'll just keep bouncing. They won't let you up. They'll laugh at you. You both ran over to the bouncy castle and kicked your shoes off. You crawled into the inflated castle with Cove hot on your heels. There were a couple other teens inside already. You started to get a feel for bouncing. Cove hopped from the middle to the side and back. Just after you landed from a particularly high jump, someone else snuck in. It was the birthday girl herself. Miranda! Hi, Miranda. Hello, hey birthday girl, you waved. You glanced over. Hi! Miranda looked happy. She waved both her hands at you with a megawatt grin. She's so cute! Doesn't she give you like unicorn vibes? I love her. I hope you're having fun. She hopped around with her hands in front of her like a kangaroo. It was a surprisingly effective way to clear distance in the bounce house. She then jumped high, kicking both her legs out of the side and touched the tips of her toes with her fingers. Okay, you don't have to show off. You don't have to show off, Miranda. Wow. Miranda hadn't run out of tricks yet. She jumped a couple more times, gaining height before doing a backflip and tucking into a ball. Okay, gymnast. Okay, Simone Biles. She managed to land on her feet, but didn't stick the landing. She tumbled back and fell on her butt. It's okay. I won't laugh at you. You're doing the best you can. Cove clapped at Miranda and inclined her head, almost like a bow. She was back to jumping in no time. You're so good at this. She bounced close enough to the two of you to talk without shouting across the way. Cove's bouncing slowed down to accommodate their conversation. That's cool. That's cool you have a trampoline in your backyard. I have a friend who had a trampoline in her backyard. That was the scariest fucking trampoline ever. I think there was a hole in it. It was wild. It was crazy. You're so lucky, Miranda. That's really cool. I want to do flips too. You nodded along the conversation. You clapped for her stomps. I'm clapping. You're so good. Miranda giggled a bit and then her eyes sparkled. Hey, can I launch someone if you... I can launch someone if you want. If I jump in front of you, then your bounce will go higher. Do that to Cove, not to me. Not me. That's okay. We can still have fun. Can you launch me? Miranda didn't hesitate. She started jumping with more force and getting closer to Cove. Of course. You watched Miranda tell Cove how he'd get the best results. You gave him a count and tried to time it so that he'd jump right when she touched him. What? I think that's a touchdown. Oh my gosh. Not me reading weird again. You stood a few feet away, but then you caught some of the energy from their bounces. The bounce house's floor rippled slightly under your feet. Cove took turns launching Miranda after he understood how it worked. She in turn did tricks that wouldn't be possible without the added height. It was exciting to watch. Cirque du Soleil over here. You all had fun bouncing around. You twirled, Miranda did stunts. Cove futilely tried to touch the highest tip in the castle's ceiling. You and Cove chatted to Miranda more than you ever had at school. She truly was the queen of this bouncy castle. I bet. Whenever someone did something cool, everyone would cheer. If you fell, the others would help you up. This is nice. This is friendship. Because you know what my friend did when I fell? Nothing. She laughed. Whenever someone did something cool, yeah, okay. Eventually, more people wanted to take turns at the bounce house, so you and Cove left. As you slipped on your shoes, you saw Miranda get drawn into conversation with a group of adults. She would be talking to them for a while. You and Cove decided to take a break and hydrate. You went to the party table and grabbed some ice water. Cove handed you a party noisemaker he'd picked up from the same table. He blew on his, and it made a funny sound when it unrolled. Cove downed his drink in a couple gulps. He had gotten pretty into bouncing after all. Oh my god, he's thirsty. Not them having this span habits in his mouth. Boy, if you don't get out of my face. You were still sipping on your water when Cove blew on his noisemaker again. Then again, and again. Boy, if you don't stop that, get out of my ear with that nonsense. It was almost a tune. You didn't recognize any particular melody, but a noisemaker also isn't an instrument. The noise cut through the hum of the other party guests, loud and noticeable. You asked Cove to stop. You started blowing on your own noisemaker. I'm not amused. I'm blowing it back in your face, Cove. We're gonna fight. You blew hard enough to unfurl the paper completely straight. It jutted towards Cove, almost tapping his chin. Cove wasn't going to let that stand. He retaliated and blew his back at you. It nearly touched your nose. Oh, what is this? This is cute, I guess. I guess this is cute. It was a game now. Both of you tried to land a light hit on the other. Cove managed to get your chin while you scored right in between his eyes. I'm just imagining that happen. That's so funny. Oh my god. This guy. Why the fuck are you here? Don't you have a life? Someone vaguely familiar shouted and you snapped your head to the side. Cove's noisemaker dropped from his mouth. No, now it's dirty. The speaker stepped up and there was no doubt it was Jeremy. That mean boy you met at the start of summer. You got at the sight of him. Oh, hey, it's Bowl-Cut Kid. You were very uncomfortable and didn't know what to do. You instantly got angry at his presence. Oh, hey, it's Bowl-Cut Kid. Jeremy's scowl told you everything about what he thought of that moniker. Why are you here? I'm gonna bully him, because you know why? He bullied me first. So, fuck you, Jeremy, and your little 5-cent watch. Cove's tone was defensive. You watched Jeremy's face turn slack, as if Cove's question was the idiocy above all idiocies.
Didn't I already explain this?
He hadn't, so both you and Cove exchanged a look.
Do you have memory loss, or are you really that stupid? Seriously.
Did we ask if you walked here? Did we ask? Are you... okay.
My parents brought me. Apparently, I couldn't just stay inside like I wanted.
Oh my god, are you and Miranda's cousin? Are you cousins?
No, they insisted that I get out and enjoy the day and have fun on vacation. Blah, blah, blah.
He said enjoy the day and have fun on vacation like some people would say scrub the entire bathroom or listen to an off-key singer for 10 hours. That was you guys yesterday. That 30 minutes? Oof. I'm so sorry for your ears. I hope your ears are good. Hope they're not bleeding too much. You need to go to the ER probably.
I found a park because I hate the beach. Too bad I also hate parks. Ugh, it's dirty here. They don't know anything. Oh, and then I saw this stupid party decided to bother some adults by asking what was going on. They think maybe we could be included. It's moronic.
I wish they didn't do that. I hate when people try to insert themselves into things that were not there for them. Like, we're having a party, you're not invited. If you were, you would have gotten an invitation. Don't try to come to someone else's party. That's crazy. I don't care if you have a 10-year-old child and my child's 10 as well. Go away. You weren't invited.
Get it now? That's how my parents are. Annoying and embarrassing. Why would anyone want strangers at their birthday? Why can't they just leave things alone?
You know what? I do agree. Jeremy. You are the scum of the earth, but I agree with you on this time. In this one instance. He huffed loudly and his eyes shat. His eyes shat. His eyes shot daggers at some grown-ups that were presumably were his parents. Yeah, that was really awkward. Doesn't sound very bad. All you can do is complain about it. Sucks to be you. You tried to be friendly and welcome Jeremy to the park. Fuck him. This is my park now. Get the fuck out of here. You didn't bother trying to respond to that mess of a rant. This is not your problem and you want to keep it that way. Jeremy's eyes slipped away from you to take in the rest of the park for a bit. It was a little awkward. So did he follow us here? Like, we were over here, and he just said something. And then I guess he saw us, and he came over to talk to us. Why? You don't like me, I don't like you. Why are you here? So we're the only people you know? Maybe if you weren't a little bitch, I'd be like, oh, hey, it's you. Why don't you join us over here? But no. You came at Cove, like, why? Because he's better than you? Is that why? Is that why you hate Cove? Because he doesn't have a bowl cut, and his eyebrows are interesting? Is that why? It was possible he didn't know what to do, but then he spoke up again. Oh my god, again? Why are you speaking?
How can people really go around in these embarrassing party hats? Do they think it's fun or something? How can a human being be so dumb?
Why are you dumb? Have some fun. Be normal for a little while. If you don't want a party hat, don't put on a party hat. But why are you knocking our party hats? Are you jealous? Are you jealous because you didn't get a party hat because you're a bum? It's just kind of nice to do party stuff, okay, Jeremy? Jeremy scoffed, unimpressed. The expression on his face was nasty as he spoke. Why are you still speaking? Why are you still here? Go harass someone else. Go chase a squirrel or something.
I'm not surprised an empty-headed person like you would think that.
Jeremy, I hope you fall in a pond. Jeremy looked you over, completely dismissive. It's so rude, you can't help but feel offended. Cove's face hardened. He seemed more offended than when anyone actually insulted him personally. Just because you don't know how to be happy doesn't mean no one else does. And it's not our fault if you hate everything. It's not okay for you to take it out on Princess. You tell him, babe. You tell him. Tell him where he can play his grapes. They aren't doing anything wrong. You are. Jeremy seemed unfazed by Cove's defense and sniffed.
Princess can humiliate themselves on their own. They don't need you to step in and do it for them.
Listen. Are you an only child? I think that's it. He's an only child. You poured your drink on Jeremy, you pushed Jeremy, you punched Jeremy in his oh. I can punch him in the face. You drowned out his words with your noisemaker. You stood still, shocked. You landed a solid punch to his nose. He shrieked and backed away, clutching his face. He glared furiously at you. I had to do it. I could have thrown my drink in his face. But something told me that violence was the answer this time. Sometimes violence is the answer. And it's rare that's the answer, but it's the right answer for this one. He glared furiously at you. Fight me, bitch.
You really are crazy.
I sure am. I sure am crazy. Next time you talk to me, I'm biting your ear off like Mike Tyson. You're a dick, you're ruining someone's birthday. I'm gonna find your parents and tell them what's going on. I'm about to go snitch. Don't say anything like that again. People were starting to watch what was going down. Your argument wasn't exactly quiet at this point. Why don't you just leave us alone if we're so awful? Jeremy glared even more and huffed. Ugh. I see you in these streets, Jeremy. It's on sight. Watch your back.
Talking to you is pointless.
Dumbasses. He stalked off like the last time you saw him, muttering under his breath. Cove sighed in relief when Jeremy was gone. He relaxed, but only for a moment. He noticed just how much attention you'd drawn from the other guests. Luckily, it hadn't gone on long enough to get a real crowd. A concerned adult in blue button-up shirt approached you and asked what that was and if everyone was all right. I'm fine. Did we ask if you were fine? This wasn't about you, Cove. This was about me. I know you're fine. You didn't break your hand trying to punch this child. Cove looked at you cautiously, asking just as much as the adult if you were okay. Everything's fine now. You don't have to worry about us. The concerned adult lingered for a few seconds, but nodded and left you alone. The Jeremy fiasco was officially over. Cove rubbed his eyes, clearly ready to put all that nonsense behind him. Then he started laughing. It was a surprised laugh, breaking out his chest without any actual joy. It was nervous and disbelieving, and all the complex emotions brought about by one meeting with Jeremy. I can't believe it. Oh, is he gonna cry? No. Don't cry. He spoke in fits and starts. I can't believe you actually punched him. You shrugged. He deserved it. I don't feel bad about it at all. He deserved it. Fuck him and his parents. He can't just say things and get away with it. Cove nodded to himself and then continued speaking. I wouldn't want someone to do it to me, but it's not like I can blame you. He was treating us so bad for no reason. Hopefully he learns his lesson and stays away from us. I want him to not talk to me ever again. The least amount of interaction we have, the better. I'm pretty sure he'll be okay. I bet it won't even change anything for him. Yeah, he's fine. I didn't break his nose. If anything broke, it was my hand. Because I'm such a wussy baby. Cove paused and shyly twisted his fingers together. Then in a quieter voice he spoke. And if you're bad for doing it, I'm bad too. Because I kind of liked watching you do it, princess. Out of context, this is such a sentence. Within context, I see you like muscle women. Got it. Time to start bench pressing. Time to start getting them muscles. Cove said he wants someone that can beat him up. Got it. I mean, I'm not going to. We don't like domestic violence. He wants someone that can wrestle him. There we go. He became bashful, barely able to meet your eyes as he smiled shyly. But only because he deserved it. I wouldn't want that to happen to someone out of nowhere or anything. Exactly. You felt flattered. You laughed happily over Cove's admission. You agreed it was really satisfying. You also felt bashful. You weren't sure how to feel about any of this. I'm gonna laugh happily. Do you want to tell your moms about Jeremy, I mean? Are you gonna say what you did back at him? It'd probably be nice about it. Maybe they don't know how to handle someone like him. Cove bit his lip in thought. I'm not gonna tell them anything if you don't. Why are you trying to talk to my parents about me punching someone in the face? Chill. Chill, Cove. Thanks for asking. We're gonna keep this between us, okay? Nobody needs to know a thing. But let's not. I don't think it'd help. Okay. You apologize for making Coves wear the party. I'm not apologizing for making him wear this bitchin' party hat. He looks sick as fuck. I'm dropping the topic. Finally, you bent over to pick up the noisemaker that Cove dropped when Jeremy appeared. It might be too dirty to use now, but you didn't want to leave it there. He accepted it softly when you offered the little favor back to him. Thanks, princess. I like how we can be there for each other. It makes me feel better about that kind of stuff when it happens. Yeah. Cole suggested that you should find a seat at one of the tables. It was almost cake time and he wanted to be prepared. You know what? I get it. You gotta get the good seat for the cake. This cake better be good, or else. Or else what? I don't know. In my heart, there's an or else. Like I can do something. It was a good reminder that the party wasn't over yet. There's a free table over there. Let's get ready for some cake. You and Cove tried to settle down for after the last event. You took seats across from one another at the park tables. There were a few attempts to chat, but for the most part, you simply watched the adults run around and set up the cake cutting. There was a minor panic when who you assumed was Miranda's dad apparently forgot the lighter for the candles. He and another man went through and started asking the other adults for matches or lighters. They weren't having any luck until the grim-faced teenager who had been passing out party hats pulled a green lighter out of the ice cream cooler. No! Don't start smoking! Why the lighter was put in the cooler remained a mystery. But with Party Hat Girl's find, it was time to get things going again. Girl, why did you put that in the cooler of all things? That shouldn't be in the cooler. Miranda sat at the head of the longest table. A large chocolate cake was set in front of her. Ugh, boo, guess I'm not having cake. She lit all 14 candles with the cooler lighter with a big smile. The adults started singing happy birthday and the rest of the guests joined in. At the end of the song, Miranda blew out the candles with a dedicated huff. She closed her eyes and you saw her silently mouth something. Maybe it was a birthday wish. Aw, cute. Miranda cut her own slice, then one of the grown-ups took over cutting the cake. Another adult passed around plates of cake slices with a scoop of vanilla ice cream for the guests. Eventually the cake got around to you and Cove. Do you have a pill for this? He remembered I'm lactose intolerant. You know I didn't bring my pills, Cove. You know I threw them shits out. He gave a significant look at the vanilla ice cream. You nodded and tapped one of your pockets. My mom's made me bring some. That's good. Cove was pleased with the treat in general. The cake looked rich and moist. It smelled quite chocolatey. You only want the ice cream, you only want the cake. I only want the ice cream. You your plastic spoon and try to buy the ice cream. It was a little plain, like most bulk vanilla ice cream, but it was still ice cream. You liked it and took another bite. I like vanilla ice cream, but if I had to pick between which ice creams I liked, like vanilla soft serve, so superior, so great, love it with sprinkles. But if I'm getting it in like packaged thing, then I'm going with cookies and cream. Do you guys have a favorite ice cream? But also, if it's in bar form, then I like strawberry shortcake. I have very like specific things about how I like my food. Like, I'm the pickiest eater, but I'm also like the simplest eater at the same time. You're basic, you love chocolate. I'm basic too. Like, if I'm getting soft serve at like an ice cream shop, I'm getting vanilla. But if I'm getting it from like the grocery store, I'm getting cookies and cream, or I'm getting Ben & Jerry's Americone Dream. I don't know what Stephen Colbert did to that ice cream, but that shit's so fucking good. He put his whole stussy into that ice cream. I could do without the caramel, because there's a lot of caramel in there. If it was just light caramel, I would love it even more. So I give the caramel, like, globs, I give them to Gil, because he loves caramel. Which one again? Americone Dream. It's by Ben & Jerry. Ben & Jerry's ice cream. Because they have one for, what's his name? Jimmy Fallon. They have a Jimmy Fallon one, too. That one's okay, I guess. But if I'm gonna get any Ben & Jerry's flavor, it's Americone Dream. It's got Stephen Colbert on it. We stand Stephen Colbert. You took your plastic spoon and tried a bit of the ice cream. It was a little plain with most bulk vanilla ice cream, but it was still ice cream. You liked it and took another bite. The cake, however, you shoved off to the very side of your plate. Hey, I'll take what you don't want. Can I have your ice cream then? If we're trading? Cove eyed you hopefully, and you could hear his legs swing against the tablecloth hanging over the side of the table. It's so cute. Here, lovely. Have the cake. You remember watching the news he does? He was so fucking funny. Yeah. Colbert Report was the show. I used to watch it all the time. It'd come on Comedy Central. I would stay up to watch the Colbert Report because I was like, what? A child. I had to be 13 or 14 when I started watching the Colbert Report. And then he stopped, because didn't he do the Daily Show for a bit? I think he did the Daily Show, like a little bit. And then he got his own reality TV show. Not reality TV. He got another talk show. But it was no longer the Colbert Report. It's like Tonight something with Stephen Colbert. I don't watch it anymore, but just know I stand Stephen Colbert. Cove transferred what you didn't want to his plate and then handed yours back. Thanks. He beamed and he felt a little better that your unwanted dessert would still be enjoyed. Cove then took his fork and started mashing up some of his cake. What? I'm sorry, sir. What are you doing with this cake? When the cake resembled a pile of crummy chunks, he started mixing it into the ice cream. The melted parts of the ice cream made a kind of chocolate cake soup. Ew. I'm judging you. I'm judging you, buddy. You raised your eyebrows. You thought it looked gross. I've never done that, but no, I want to. You didn't. I think it looks gross. I'm judging you. I'm judging you. There was nothing appealing about it. It was melting, crummy, and looked more like dirt shoved into old milk than a dessert. Cove chuckled at your disgusted expression. Me and Cove, we are so opposite. He likes stuff that I don't like, and I like stuff that he doesn't like. And that's kind of how it is with me and Gil. I like things that he doesn't like, and he likes things that I don't like. But, you know, we live together. We coexist. We try to get stuff that we both like. But you know what, though? I am going to fight him. Because he bought me, I like mega stuffed Oreos. And he doesn't have a preference for them, but he gives me the mega stuffed Oreos. And you know what he does? He eats all of them. He eats all of the mega stuffed Oreos, okay? And like, you got them for me. And he's like, yeah, I know, but I wanted some. Okay, then have some. Don't eat like 3 fucking rows and leave me 1 row of Oreo. Like, my feelings are hurt a little bit. Because, like, you got them for me. Don't eat my stuff. Vanilla ice cream is good. It's not good by itself. Okay, you're a liar, Cove. You're a liar. Vanilla ice cream is good by itself. You just have to get it soft serve. I'm gonna eat it with the cake either way, so why not put them together now? Things like ice cream cakes exist. Putting stuff together is normal. Yeah, Gil does not like regular cake, so I get him ice cream cakes. He loves ice cream cakes. I'm not really a fan of ice cream cakes. They're okay. I prefer my ice cream and my cake to be separate. I don't like when they touch. Cove contentedly chowed down his concoction. One advantage to his mix is that the ice cream seemed to catch most of the crumbs that would usually fall from eating a cake. Well, you're eating cake weird if you have a bunch of cake crumbs. Unlike some of the kids around him, Cove's shirt remained clean. You started eating your dessert in earnest. You enjoyed yourself plenty. What do you mean I started eating it in earnest? I've been eating this ice cream. Girl, I'm not letting this go to waste. Cove suddenly put his fork down on his plate and stared up to the sky with a faraway expression. You checked, but didn't see anything attention-grabbing. This ice cream is better than those ones in cups, you know, with the little wooden spoons. But I still kind of want that instead. You remembered what kind he was talking about. Oh, from the fireworks. Got it, buddy. I got it, I see. Oh yeah, like the ones handed out at the barbecue before the fireworks happened? Cove smiled nostalgically at that thought. You could picture a younger Cove for a moment with the same look in his eyes. He has the most amazing memory. Because I probably would not remember that ice cream. Well, that's not true because I do remember the ice cream. It has like a very specific taste. You remembered how your ma tried to share with everyone that night. See, I wouldn't have remembered that though. You held up your fork and offered a bite of your dessert to him. You asked him if you could have a bite of his dessert. You smiled about the memory to yourself. No, I'm smiling to the memory, okay? You know what? No. Because I would probably offer him some of my dessert. I'm thinking about, like, if this was me and Gil, I probably would offer him some of my dessert. You know what? Yeah, sure. The dessert was held unsteadily on your plastic fork. Why do I have a plastic fork when you have ice cream? You eat that with a spoon. Who's giving children forks to eat ice cream? That's why their shirts are messy. What is this parent doing? And you had to be careful as you moved it towards him. Cove raised his eyebrows at your offer. What? You told him you're serious. I'm serious. You want some of my ice cream? Really, Cove? Let's share. Aww. So cute. He rubbed his neck, leaning back in his seat. He was taken aback and even more bashful. Well, I already have some on my plate, so yeah, sorry. Don't want my cooties, huh? Princess. He spoke with a terser tone. What is a terser tone? I gotta look this word up. I have to. I've never heard of this word before. Terser meaning. Terse. It's an adjective. Comparative adjective. Sparring is a sparing. Sparing in the use of the word abrupt. Ah, okay. The source says curt, brusque, abrupt, clipped, blunt, gruff, short, brief. Got it. I learned a new word, and maybe you learned a new word today too. How fun would that be for us if we both learned new words? You were testing him. Cove gulped as he looked at you and then your respective dessert plates. He took a quick bite and grabbed your fork. Without letting himself hesitate, he took a bite. He smiled. That's kind of evil of me to do that. Thanks, Cove. Miranda then started to open her gifts. She systematically attacked the mountain of presents like a pro. Ooh, love it. She checked for any cards and read them loudly before opening a gift. She smiled at every present, including the ones you and Cove got her. You were glad the presents were acceptable. It took time, but eventually Miranda got through all the gifts. She was very sweet and polite throughout it all. The party went until the sun began to set. By that point, most of everything had settled down and people had begun to leave. Any of the guests whose parents had stayed for the party were already gone, except for Miranda's family. Only a few kids still waiting for their parents to come get them remained, you and Cove included. Miranda's family were cleaning up, and as a guest, neither you nor Cove were supposed to help with that. Instead, you both had decided to take it easy in the bouncy house. It was somewhere out of the way where you could casually wait for your ride. Miranda had also elected to hang out with you. You weren't even bouncing anymore. This is so sweet, Miranda. Let's be best friends for life. Cove lay on his side with his back to the wall, and Miranda sat across from him with her legs stretched out. You also made yourself comfortable. It was nice and warm in the little building. It also felt like you had some privacy, which is nice. You could all speak openly here. Thanks for coming. She looked down, but continued shyly. It's been really cool to get to hang out with you a bit. Thanks for letting me come. I didn't think I'd be invited. Thanks for me too. Yeah, I wasn't expecting either. I'm so happy I could come. Thanks for me too, Miranda. Miranda just smiled a little more. Did you notice anything happening earlier with some people you don't know showing up? She had to think about his question a little. It was apparent that she didn't have an encounter with Jeremy since there was no instant recognition. I heard about something. Other than parents were talking to my parents. Some other parents were talking to my parents when their kid came and forced them to leave the park. She tilted her head to the side, finding it weird but also not important. Then everyone had cake and ice cream. Cove smiled uncomfortably. Oh, that's good. He was clearly worried that the Jeremy confrontation could have gotten to her. Luckily, it didn't seem that anyone had overheard or passed along Jeremy's cruel words. Cove rolled over on his back and sighed contentedly. Miranda seemed confused. He wasn't going to push. You got up and started bouncing again. You laid back and closed your eyes to rest. I'm not telling her about the ordeal. She doesn't need to know. I closed my eyes. It's nap time. The air-filled floor was comfy, and when you listened, you could feel the vibrations of the blower keeping this bounce house up. The sun stretched between everyone, and you opened your eyes to take a peek at the others. Cove was still relaxing, but Miranda was looking between you two, looking confused. You smiled to yourself and closed your eyes once more. You spent the rest of the time content and dozing until it was time to go. At the end of the day, you thought it had been quite the party. Wow, look at that. Look at that. What is this? Just 5? This would be like what? 4/10 done? Almost half? Family. I think I've played this story. This story is it's a tough one. The sun warmed your skin from its place in the sky, and you closed your eyes, enjoying the mix of the heat with the pleasant breeze that drifted past you. You and Lee had spread out a blanket on top of one of the hills behind your house and had been relaxing there for a while now. Lee had come over earlier in the day, and while a range of activities had been discussed, from staying home to leading down to the beach to leading to heading down to the beach, a picnic on the hill had been the choice you both settled on. A small spread was laid out in front of you, both bottled water, soft drinks, as well as chips and sliced fruit. What kind of chips we got? I have a craving for barbecue chips, but it's like a specific barbecue chip brand. And I'm seeing it in my head, but I cannot remember what brand it is. We sat up and reached for a snack, listening to Lee talk away about the musical she had gotten to see a few days ago. It was unbelievable. They were singing, dancing, crazy stunts, and it was all done live right in front of my face. Maybe one day we could go together. I've got to see more shows like that. She's definitely my friend. I have so many friends. You smiled at Lee's enthusiasm, knowing how much she enjoyed singing and performing. And she got good at it too. You had gotten the chance to hear her sing a couple of tunes, and you knew she put a lot of effort into it. You also liked to sing, but you weren't very good. You also liked to sing and had talent of your own. You didn't like to sing, but you had been told you were good at it. You weren't good at singing, and that suited you fine. I like to sing. I used to be good at singing. Not anymore, though. You vibe with the coloring of this. It's so pretty. I'm so surprised you have not played this game, Lene. This game is so It's so cute. So what am I, 13? Yeah. I was a really good singer around this age. I've lost all of my musical abilities, though. It was nice to see if you could share the interest. You might. It looks cute. It is. Song has played it, too. I didn't know Song played... Ah! I hit my elbow! Hold on, my elbow feels weird. I think I hit my funny bone. I was saying Songs played it too and I didn't know. I was getting a drink of water. My elbow still feels weird, but I'm gonna be okay. We gonna be okay. It was nice to see if you could show the interest. I wonder if maybe we could put on our own show. Think of how fun it'd be. We could perform for our parents and ask our friends and some other people to come and watch too. It'd totally work. Yes, let's do it. I don't know about that. The idea gave you stage fright. Sure, I'll give it a go. That's not a good idea. It'd be embarrassing. Sure, I'll give it a go. I'll give it a go. It wasn't something you had really thought about before, but if Lee wanted to do it, then you could at least give it a shot. Lee clapped in excitement and bounced on the balls of her feet, beyond happy that you were both on board with her idea. I'm gonna sing. Do you wanna too? Or maybe do something else? I'll sing too, I'll dance, I'll play an instrument, I'll write the song, I'll do some kind of stunt that goes with the music, I'll pick the outfits, I'll do makeup, I'll make a backdrop, or some kind of stage. I'll sing too, let's sing together. Cool, we'll perform an incredible duet. Hopefully we can harmonize. Hopefully you know how to harmonize, Lee. Is there anything else that's coming to your head? No. Not a single thing. I'm not doing anything extra. The two of you ran back to your house to grab the supplies you needed, dodging your mom's amused questions, but heading back out to the blanket to get started. You lay down on the blanket together, your MP3 player in hand, and the two of you swiped through the songs to choose one you both liked. That's so hard to do. I remember, and I think it was my 7th grade talent show. It was either 7th or 8th grade. I was forced to be in a group because I was singing, and then the people that I was in the group with, like, I didn't know any of the songs that they liked, but they forced me to play. They forced me to sing this song with them. But then they both got in trouble, so then they couldn't participate in the talent show, and I had like a week. I had a week to pick a new song. And I sung a Jennifer Hudson song. I don't remember what it was called, but I sung that song. I sure did. Lee and you discussed the plans in detail, settling on a song first and then practicing out parts for the show. Oh no, heckin' sucks. Yeah, she was getting in trouble a lot. They both were. They were troublemakers. But sometimes, you know what, it wasn't her fault. They thought she had an attitude problem. And sometimes she did, but then sometimes it was not her. It was them. Writes for her. I'm not gonna say her name. I don't want to dox her. But writes for her. I hope she's doing good. The afternoon passed quickly, the sun dropping lower and lower in the sky, and after having thoroughly worked out how the show was going to go, you decided to take a break. Oh, we should have invited Cove to watch us practice our show. He could tell us if it's bad before we put on the real thing. That's smart, I guess. That would have been okay. I'm glad he didn't see it. Oh? Why? It's probably not something he'd like, and I don't want to hear if he thinks it isn't any good. I don't think he would be mean. I mean, that's not what I said. It's because I want to surprise him. I want him to be surprised. You hope she is too? Thank you. I didn't like the girl she hung out with. She was a troublemaker. Like, she tried to lie on me to, like, a mutual friend we had. I'm like, no. I did not say what you thought I said. And she was like, everyone's saying that you said that. I'm like, I don't know how they're saying that I said that. I never said that. You know, like, at the time when you're younger, like, being gay is, like, weird. So they were like, you called her gay. And I'm like, when the fuck did I say she was gay? It was so weird. Is she gay now? I don't know. Do I care? No. Am I gay? Yeah. I'm bisexual. Actually, no, I'm pansexual. You didn't answer her, but you never knew when it came to Cove. He could be pretty blunt at times. I mean, when he was younger, he was very blunt. Yeah, so I didn't like her. Fuck her. I hope she's living a moderate life. It's too bad Derek isn't in the neighborhood today. I like him. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, he's a good person. Do you like him? Or do you like him? Because I ship it. I ship it if you like him. Hit him with the, I'm gay? What you mean I call her gay? I wasn't gay at the time. I was heavily in the closet. My parents were very weird about gay people. I knew you'd think so. Like, I even at that time, I didn't know I was gay. All I knew is that I was in love with Demi Lovato, and there was nothing straight about that. There was nothing straight about how I felt about Demi Lovato. But speaking of the boys you like, what's the relationship status between you and Cove? Is it good? Amen, yeah. I think these are alright. You shouldn't gossip, you blush and say nothing. I don't know. How can you not know? You're either good or not. It's fine, I guess. But, like, really, are you gonna be telling him you have a crush on him anytime soon, or what? Mind your business, Lee. No way I'm not telling him. I'm pretty sure he already knows. You weren't sure if you want to tell Cove or not. Listen, I'm such... If I like someone, it is so painfully obvious, and if they don't get it that I like them, that's on them. Like, I'm not keeping that shit a secret. I'm gonna say I'm pretty sure he knows. Pretty sure isn't sure. You should declare it to him. Why don't you declare it to him? Actually, no, don't do that, because I had a friend do that before. Pissed me off. Everything they did used to piss me off, because I'm like, why are you doing shit? Stop it. Ugh. Anyway, you want something incoherent, and she gave you a pointed look. You know that he has a crush on you too. It's obvious for him. It's so obvious for you. Why not just do it? You didn't say anything, wondering about the possibilities instead. The two of you talked a little more about Cove, amongst other topics, and you found that it was nice having someone to speak with about these sort of things. Finally, you both decided to pack everything up and head back home for the evening. Lee talked excitedly about the shows as you did, and you thought back on what you had already accomplished for it. You could definitely do a little more practice, but what you had so far was a solid foundation for the performance. Oh. I love the way Elizabeth looks. She looks like such a baddie. Upon walking through the front door, you were met by your moms and Elizabeth hovering around each other in the living room. This is gonna be a tough story. It's kind of sad. Tension hung thick in the air as the three of them turned to you and Lee, frowning slightly, and you had interrupted something, exactly what you weren't sure. Wow, who died? What's going on? You looked between them and said nothing. What's going on? What's up? Your moms looked at each other, wondering which one of them was going to speak first. Eventually, Mom cleared her throat and spoke. I'm just stumbling over words. We're just having a talk with your sister. The room fell quiet again, and no one quite knowing what to say. You felt incredibly awkward, but the silence didn't last long. You don't have to stop just because those two are here. There's no reason to just try keeping it a secret. Elizabeth was mad and her arms folded defensively over her chest, but your mom nodded in agreement with her. Elizabeth was asking about her parents. Her biological ones. The world spun around you at the news. You couldn't understand why was this happening now. When you glanced at Lee, she shuffled her feet uncomfortably as though she didn't know if she should be there or not anymore. You didn't know either. Your moms had always been open and honest about the fact that neither of them had given birth to you or your sister, but the details hadn't been fully explained before. It made sense that Elizabeth didn't know a lot about her biological parents and wanted to know more. You just hadn't ever thought you'd accidentally stumble into it. Elizabeth looked at your parents expectantly. She wasn't going to let the unintentional interruption derail things. We don't want to keep that information from you either of you. It's your right to know your past, but we didn't want to wait until you asked us to hear yourselves. Well, it's happening now, so... Your mom shared a nervous glance, and Ma took in a quick breath before speaking again. I adopted you from the Philippines when you were just a baby. Elizabeth dropped her arms, her eyebrows shooting upwards in surprise. Wait, I wasn't born here? No, you weren't. Oh. I mean, well, you're a citizen now, so it's okay. You could clearly see that your sister was appalled by this information. You struggled even more with what to do or how to react. Am I gonna have to pass some tests to even be a citizen? You were adopted into the country. We took care of things. You're already a citizen. You have nothing to worry about. I followed all the laws when it came to bringing a child into the U.S. Nothing can be held against you. Elizabeth sighed, placated with the information, but still far from happy. Who were my parents as people? Why did they put me up for adoption in the first place? Ma softly put her hands over Elizabeth's shoulders, trying to provide some support before she gave her the answer. Sweetie, your parents were reported to have died. They didn't go into details on the specifics of how, but you were an orphan. I wish we had better news for you, Elizabeth. Elizabeth was torn between emotions, her eyes filled with tears as she threw her hands in the air, settling enraged. Great! So I can never meet them, even if I wanted to? Not that I could have anyway, since they lived in another part of the world when they were still alive. Elizabeth turned her back on you and your moms and stormed off, sprinting up the stairs into her room before anyone could stop her. I have to go talk to her. Ma immediately started to follow her, but Mom gently held her by the arm and shook her head. We should give her a little space to process it all. Your ma's head hung low, but she stopped walking. With Elizabeth now gone, two of them seemed to remember you and Lee were still standing awkwardly off to the side. I'm sorry you had to see all that. It's not how I expected it would have happened when the time came. But since it's the topic of the day, Princess, is there anything you'd like to ask? You deserve to know after all. Lee patted your back and gave you a supportive look. You know what? I do want to know. Let's know. Let's find out. I want to know. Your parents both nodded in sync to your reply, ready to talk. I can leave if you want to have things in private. I want you here. I can do that. Lee shifted a little closer to you in support, and you were glad to have her there with you. It made you feel a little stronger somehow. You turned to face your parents again, preparing yourself for what they were about to tell you. Ma was the first to speak, her voice quivering with emotion. You were adopted as a baby, 2 years after Elizabeth. We used a different organization that time, and you were adopted within the U.S. We're sorry to tell you, Princess. Your parents had also passed away, and no other family member took you in, if there were any. That's why we wanted to wait until you asked. We didn't want to suddenly drop that in your lap. We wanted you to be prepared. We're sorry, Princess. Lee gave you a reassuring squeeze on the arm to show she was there for you. Thanks for telling me. Okay, you said nothing. It's not your fault. You didn't kill them, right? I'm gonna pick that one. Start to cry. You're so angry. I'm not angry. Honestly, I don't know how I would react to this. Because it wasn't a secret that we were adopted. But, knowing that I'm adopted and these aren't my biological mothers, does it change anything for me? I feel like it wouldn't change anything for me. You were trying to lighten the mood, but your moms didn't seem any less grim. Thank you for listening, Princess. Is there anything else you want to know? All you have to do is ask. We'll do our best to answer any questions you have. How are you feeling now? Are you going to be okay? Lee watched you closely as though judging how exactly she should react to what was going on. I feel fine, but you didn't mean that. You started to cry, you held back tears. Anger arose inside of you. I'm fine. You spoke with a refreshed tone, as though you had a load off. Your moms smiled sadly, but you knew they believed you. No one seemed to have any words after that. You went up to your room. You need to stay with your mom. You wanted to get out of the house. You wanted to see Elizabeth. Let's go check on our sister. Like, we love Cove, yeah, but fuck Cove. This is about our sister. Our sister is hurting right now. You were worried about Elizabeth. Even though she had been so angry when talking to your moms about everything, you could see she was clearly sad. You headed over to the stairs up to her room. I'm gonna leave Lee in the living room. Because this is a sister-sister thing and not a sister-sister-cousin thing. It'd be best to speak to Elizabeth alone. There was more chance of her opening up to you that way. Waiting in front of your sister's door, you raised a hand to knock on it. There was no answer for a good minute or two, and when you jiggled the handle, you found it was locked. Raising your hand again, you knocked louder this time, thinking she must have had her headphones on so she couldn't hear you. When she didn't answer the door for a second time, it was clear to you that she either still couldn't hear or was just straight up ignoring you. It hurt to be shut out, especially right now. I guess we can go see Cove. More than anything, in the moment, you wanted to see Cove. No one could be there for you the way he could. That's crazy. I'm gonna go out for just a little while. I'll be back before it's really late. Your mom's nodded in understanding, trusting you to make the best call for yourself. Once outside, you strode across the street purposefully, Cove's house set in your sights. After you raised a hand to knock on the door, it only took a few moments for Mr. Holden to answer, giving you a broad smile. I feel like he looks different. Is it the hair? It might be the hair. Hi, Princess. Looking for Cove, I bet? Yeah, that's right. Cliff turned and whistled down the hall in the direction of Cove's room. I don't like the garages. The garages are not cool looking, good looking. They're not it. Hey, sport, you have a guest. After calling his son, he turned back to you and dipped his head. He'll be here any second. I keep forgetting he looks like this. I forget he looks like this all the time. Because in my other one, he does not look like this at all. As promised, it didn't take long before footsteps echoed down the hall and Cove's head of green hair appeared before you all. He looked past his dad to see you standing there and smiled, pleased at your visit. Hey, Princess. Hi, Cove. Can you hang out now? He gave you a placid smile, one you were all too familiar with. Sure. You kids take care, alright? I'll be around if you need anything. Mr. Holden shuffled back into the house and closed the front door, giving you some privacy. Cove, why did you get closer? You didn't need to do that. Cove tilted his head and his bangs falling into his face as he did so. What's up? There's a lot going on right now. It's nothing you didn't speak to him. I need to talk to you. My parents are dead. That's so fucking dramatic. That is something I would do. This is a very me answer. Cove froze at your outburst, except for his mouth, which fell open. My biological ones, before our moms adopted me. Without having to say anything, Cove reached out and pulled you into a tight embrace, his familiar warmth enveloping you. Enveloping you? I'm sorry, Princess. His words were whispered comfortingly into your shoulder. You don't have to do this. I'm okay. You started to cry. You know what? I probably would cry if he hugged me. I probably would cry. You pressed your face into the crook of his neck, unable to stop the tears. The hold he had on you tightened. Can we talk somewhere else? You felt uncomfortable huddling around. Is that the background music? Hold on. What the hell is that? Is it the water heater making that noise? It is. I usually have the bathroom door closed. It is definitely the water heater. Okay. I'm gonna go close the bathroom door because it's annoying me. I'll be right back. Also throwing away this thing here. Also, the Girl Scout cookies I got, besides Thin Mints, they're called Lemon Ups. And they have encouraging words on them. I did not know that they had words on them. I was just eating them, and I noticed them, like, when I had 3 cookies left, I was like, oh, there's words here. Okay, I'm coming back. I'm just getting adjusted. Getting my blanket properly adjusted. Okay. Eep. Eep oop. Eep eep eep. You felt uncomfortable huddling around the entrance of Cove's house. That feeling didn't seem to be a problem, though. Yeah. Cove took you by the arm and encouraged you along behind him. You followed without protest. You headed towards the hills, where you and Lee had spent the majority of your day. Things seemed so different then. Only a couple of hours ago, you wondered how everything had changed so drastically. You took a seat in the grass beside Cove, who bent his legs and rested his arms on them before he turned to you again. Can you explain everything to me? You nodded softly before taking in a heavy breath and launching into the story. Cove sat quietly and listened attentively, nodding every now and then or taking in a sharp inhale. It took a long time for you to relay the details. Dozens of stars were pinpointed in the sky as the night wore on. Silence settled between you as Cove sat quietly for a moment, contemplating everything you had said. When he finally spoke, his voice was quiet, drifting through the night towards you. Princess. I'm really sorry about what happened to your parents. So sorry. He stopped suddenly and took in a deep, shaky breath, and you got the impression he was struggling with what was right to say. I'm sad I'll never get to know them. I feel bad that I don't feel worse about it. I'm so mad. You shrugged your shoulders, not knowing how to feel. Oh, I definitely would be numb in this situation. Like, after I cry, numb. Nothing's getting to me after I get out a good cry. Everything was so overwhelming, it was difficult to get a good grasp. Princess, you're not doing anything wrong. You know that, right? I think you can be as sad as you want, for as long as you need, or you can feel okay about it whenever you want to. He sighed and ran a hand through his hair as he looked over at the ocean. I guess what I'm trying to say is, whatever you feel about it is how you feel about it. You don't have to force yourself to be different. Thank you, Cove. You cried sadly. You cried in relief. Thank you, Cove. I appreciate that. His words had made you feel better, and you knew it was true. You didn't have to apologize or make any excuses for the way you felt about it all. Cove smiled at you a little, and you could tell he was trying to be comforting. And your moms definitely don't. It doesn't matter if you're not blood related, you're definitely family. I can see that, and I hope you can too. You felt the reassurance in his eyes. You stayed up on the hill together a little longer, looking out over the ocean and the stars that shone brightly above it. After talking about the situation with someone who wasn't directly a part of it, you started to see things in a different light. Above all, you were glad to have Cove's support, and to know you could count on him if you needed it. We love to see it. Bless up. Hey. The sudden voice of your sister behind you made you jump. You saw her standing a little way away. She walked closer, and you didn't quite know what to do, or what she was planning on saying. Would you mind going? I want to talk to just Princess. You can come back. It's not going to be forever or anything. Cove seemed equal parts concerned and skeptical. Leaving now wasn't a concept that thrilled him. Ooh. You can't ask that. You're not in agreement. I want to talk to you too. I'm just gonna say I want to talk to you too. Oh? Then we're on the same page. She made a little move along gesture with her hands and it was subtle. You can't treat my mans like this. You waited until the two of you were alone before fixing her with an inquisitive look. Elizabeth folded her arms, looking you over. Did moms tell you about your parents too? My birth parents also died. Elizabeth broke eye contact after that. Why did you want to talk to me? I went to see you and you didn't even answer. Elizabeth raised an eyebrow at the news. I didn't hear anything. Shutting everything out with loud music was very typical of your sister. You didn't feel much less confused, though. Why did you stop doing that, then? She shook her head as though the answer should be obvious. I was worried about you. I was the one who brought it up, but I made you deal with whatever was left when I was gone. She sighed, glancing upwards for a moment before settling on you once more. Ugh. Elizabeth's such a good big sister. I wanted to ask you what happened with everyone, without everyone breathing down our necks. That was pretty crappy of you to just bail. I'm amazed you noticed that was unkind. Thank you for thinking of me. I'm not mad at you. You were quite surprised for her admission. I am. I'm surprised for her admission. She's growing as a person. She stuck up her nose a little at that, but her smile was soft. I'm okay, Elizabeth. It didn't upset me. How are you allowed to be that mature? I say it didn't upset me, and then I cry into Cove's arms. He's the only one that knows I cried. The lightning spirits in her were quickly gone as she slipped back into a scowl. You have to be born in the US to become president. Girl, I thought you wanted to be a tennis player. What is this about being president? What? You had never heard of that dream of hers before. She noticed your bafflement and continued. I get I was never going to be president, but it just feels weird having stuff taken away and not even getting a chance at it. Girl, if you want to be president, go back to the Philippines. Don't they have a president there? I don't mean that in a mean way. I'm just saying. I'm pretty sure they have, what is it called? Prime ministers? You could definitely be a prime minister, probably. You'd have to renounce your citizenship, probably, to be a prime minister there. But still, if you got lofty goals like that, go achieve them there. I'm not saying you to leave. I love you. I want you to stay. But, like, if you want to be president, it can't be here. I don't like having to know that when I was born, I was going to have a completely different life. So different I can't even think about what it looked like in my head. I could have spoken another language, lived away from everything I've ever seen here, had someone else as my sibling. And then my parents died, and I was adopted, and the life I got became a totally new thing forever. I can't go back to what it was even if I wanted to. I mean, that's true. You could go back to the Philippines, but you can't get that life that you were supposedly promised before your parents died. A heaviness settled between you and the person who became your sister. I feel like that too. You knew exactly how she felt. I don't really understand. I'm going to empathize. It was a confusing thing. It was a confusing feeling to have lived one way for as long as you can remember, but not having it be what was originally yours. You know what? I get that. I feel that. Not being adopted, that's not a thing that I can relate to, but I can empathize with the feeling of thinking your life could have turned out differently. Because my depression, I talk about my depression so much. My depression has literally ruined my life. It was so bad. It stopped me from doing things that I probably would have enjoyed doing. So my life could have been totally different. Elizabeth watched you seriously. She was still trying to make sense of this to you, and herself. I don't know why today was the day. Nothing came up to make me ask the question. It was just something I had in my head for a while. When it was just me and Moms in the living room, I just kind of said it finally, and there you go. She shifted from one foot to another, relaxing her stance just a bit. She also spoke more gently. Learning about them and what happened doesn't change how I feel about our family, Princess. Aw, I saw her little shell necklace. Okay, go off, girl. She smirked, fixing it with sharp eyes. I'd already figured a long time ago that Moms weren't our biological parents. That wasn't news. Technically, one of them could have been related to you. You kept listening to Elizabeth. It really doesn't do anything. I gotta be a smartass. I have to. Our moms have kids, just not both together. They can have kids, yeah. True, but I'm not half white or native Hawaiian, so no, neither of them could have been my mom. I mean, maybe. We don't know anything about the dads that would have been in the equation. Nice try, smart Alec. Nothing about the family I was first born in would have made me decide that this wasn't my family anymore. If you had hoped you'd be free of my big sisterly status, don't think you're so lucky. She bumped her shoulder against yours playfully, her lips tilted at the corners. That was so nice. I'm gonna cry. You smiled softly at her, you jokingly groaned at the protest, you bumped her back. I'm bumping her back. Always be my family too. Chuckling, she seemed pleased with how the conversation had gone in the end. Ready to head back home? It's been a long day. You gave her a nod. Come on, you two, let's go. Oh, he's still here. Where did he go? You walked home together in a comfortable silence down the well-worn street. The familiarity of it all felt nice. When you stepped through the door, you found your moms quietly sitting together at the kitchen table. Where'd Lee go? Their heads snapped up, and they got to their feet to meet you, Ma giving you a careful smile. We're so glad to see you. Hi, I'm sorry for walking away before. Everything is alright. You said nothing. Everything's fine. That's wonderful, sweetheart. Really wonderful. Ma then came over and wrapped her arms around you, and Elizabeth giving you a tight hug. It didn't take long for Mom to join in, putting her arms around the both of you. What is this face that she's making? Oh my god, are you okay, Elizabeth? We really couldn't have asked for better kiddos. We love you. More than we could ever say. Moms. You smiled at their comfort. You were glad your moms were alright. You're smushing me. You all chuckled, the rumble of laughter shaking you all as you continued to hold each other tight. I love you too. They both pulled back eventually and grinned at the two of you, and you knew that you all had each other, and you always would. Hey, I hope you're alright. Lee came up towards you, a soft smile plastered on her face. And are you okay, Elizabeth? Elizabeth rolled her eyes and huffed a breath, and you knew she wasn't used to showing her vulnerable side. I'm doing fine. Lee nodded, though you could tell she didn't quite believe her. Where's Cove? Well, now, since we're all here, how about we do something together as a family? That sounds like an excellent idea. We should have some fun before the night's over. I love the sound of that. Why is she not on screen? Oh, okay, so Cove is here. Okay. Cove looked a little bashful, likely over being included as part of the family, but he tried not to pay much attention to it. Why not? You hit the smell that threatened to tilt your lips, knowing that Elizabeth must have been in a good mood if she hadn't even teased Cove for being part of it. And no matter what she could have said about it, you wanted him to be here. He was someone who was really important to you. Who's got a suggestion? It should be something we can do here in the house with everyone in the same room. You suddenly remembered the show you and Lee had been working on earlier. And we can do our show. You were bummed you never got to do it after all that. You weren't so keen on it now after what happened. Maybe we can do our show. You know me, I love me a good spot of attention. A show? This is the first time we're hearing of this. I'm intrigued. It would be amazing if you put it on for us to watch. Oh yeah? I need to see what you've cooked up. That'd be cool. You smiled at Lee, who returned to gesture while bouncing on her heels in excitement. Take some seats and we'll get everything together. Your moms clicked the chairs from around the dining table and set them in a row in the living room, where there was enough space for the show. While they did that, you and Lee quickly gathered the supplies you needed and rehashed the plan one last time. You listened through the song and you had chosen one last time. When the two of you returned to the living room, everyone was sitting and chatting amongst themselves while they waited. The group quieted down when you and Lee stood in front of them on your makeshift stage. Lee was buzzing quietly with the excitement beside you. You felt nervous all of a sudden. You were pumped for the show. I'm definitely nervous. My tummy hurts when I get nervous, so this is not good for anyone in this room right now. No matter how small the audience was, it was still all eyes on you. Okay, so welcome to our show. We only came up with it today, but we promise it'll be good. You said, quiet, thank you for being here tonight. No refunds. You're gonna be no refunds. Laughter rippled through the mini audience. Then you nodded at Lee that you were ready to begin. Lee took in a deep breath, waiting the few beats it took to get into the song and started singing. Your part of the song joined in just a few moments later, and you smiled at each other as you sang together. When the performance was over, Lee took your hand in hers, and two of you bowed deeply together. Everyone gave you a round of applause and cheered for an encore. When you straightened yourself up, you were happy to see that even Elizabeth was clapping for you. Oh, okay, she's not being a hater today, I see. Bravo! Bravo! You are so talented. Your family rose from their seats and came over to congratulate you more directly. You were beaming from ear to ear. Cove was the first one to approach, stepping up to you and Lee with a smile on his face. Nice job. Thank you. You're a really great singer, princess. It was cool. Oh, was it? Was it? You blushed and said nothing. Luckily, we had a crowd who was easily impressed. Honestly, if Cove was not here, I would say that. I'm gonna blush. I'm gonna say nothing and I'm gonna blush. Cove chuckled, and shook his head. Why did I not read that right? Like, I read it right, but it didn't seem like it was right. Your parents gushed about how great everything was and thanked you for sharing it with them. Elizabeth was complimentary in her own way, although she did describe the show as cute, which you knew she meant it was kind of kiddie. Fuck you too, Elizabeth. You laughed it off, however, and we're just happy that everyone had a nice time. My God, can I not read? In that moment, you couldn't have been more pleased to be a part of the family you had. Oh, what a cute little family moment. I'm gonna take a short little break. I'm gonna run an ad, and we'll be back in a minute. Okay? Okay. I'm thirsty. I'm not turning the mic off. You're gonna hear everything. I'm so sorry. If you can hear me, I'm so sorry. I had to do it, okay? It felt right. I felt it in my soul. I got a calling that I had to do that. I'm stretching. I just opened my hips up and I don't think I liked it. Okay, ad break is over. Here we go. Let's continue. Summer work. Boo, I don't want to work in the summertime. Oh. I did not mean to do that. You stared out the window, watching the scenery pass as your mom drove down the quiet streets at a leisurely pace. A singer crooned sweetly from the radio, turned low enough that you could block it out if you wanted. You turned away from the window when your mom suddenly spoke up. Well, kids, are you excited to be going to the library? Oh, we get to work at the library? I used to want to work at the library when I was younger, but you need a degree. You need a degree to work at the library, like as a librarian. There are special cases where you can work at the library, but I think you need to be like a specific program. And I never know what program I used to be in. Yeah, I can't wait to go there. Woo! The library! Ow. I didn't get hurt, but I hit my headphones and I said ow. I mean, I guess my thumb hurts a little bit, but not like a lot of it. It's like a little bit, like a 1, like a 0.5. Mom laughed, catching your eye in the rearview mirror and winking. I don't know why I asked. I already know how you feel about it. Taking a trip down to the library had always been something you enjoyed. What about you, Cove? You're part of the conversation too. I like the library, and I can work better than at home. Well, I'm happy this will be of use to you. Just make sure you're not distracted by one another. That would defeat the purpose of the trip. Hey, watch it, Mom. She grinned over at you briefly, so you knew she was kidding and meant nothing by it. Mom refocused on driving, humming along with the car with the radio under her breath. You went back to staring outside. Is this the only car image we have? Because isn't this what the inside of Mr. Cove's house looks like? Mr. Cove? Mr. Holden? Isn't this Mr. Holden's car inside too? As you passed one street, you caught a glimpse of someone in a brightly colored clothing passing out balloon animals. Is it Mr. Alexander? It sparked a faraway memory, and you felt your lips twitching up before consciously remembering why. How long ago was it that you and Cove watched the amazing Alexander performing magic tricks? Hey Cove, do you remember that guy? Maybe I do. Alexander, the amazing Alexander, he gave us dolphin balloons for free. At this reminder, Cove smiled faintly, and then yours popped. Oh, yeah. I wonder if he's ever there now. What? Did that make sense to you guys, or did I just have like a thing? I don't know. We should go more often to check. Maybe. That was the first time we ever went down that street together, I think. I miss my balloon. He was a good dolphin for that one afternoon I had him. Yeah. Hey, Cove. What were you gonna name your balloon? You never told me. We're still on this? Oh, huh? I don't know. I couldn't remember what kid me was thinking. Probably something obvious like Flipper. You couldn't help the way your own smile curled up higher at the sentiment. You wanted to say something else, but couldn't quite think of what. And so you just settled back into your seat. When silence filled the car again, you returned your attention to the window. It was an absolutely gorgeous day. You leaned your face to the sunshine, tempted to close your eyes as the gentle rays warmed your cheeks. Princess. Huh? You lifted yourself up a bit more, seeing your mom twisting her torso to face you, confused from the front seat of the car. Next to you was nothing. Cove's car door was already open. You had reached the destination before you even realized it. I was asking what time should I pick you two up? Oh, 4 should be okay. That should give you enough time to finish your summer's assignments, or at least make a large enough dent. Boo, they gave us summer work. School sucks. Thanks, Mom. You hopped out of the car, remembering to grab your backpack at the last second. Alright then, have fun, you two. We will. We won't. Actually, we might. You closed the door, giving a little wave. She waved back. The two of you went right to the door of the library. Cove reached it first and tugged it open, stepping inside. He kept it propped up so you could pass through behind him. Aw, how sweet. The air was much cooler inside the building than it had been for a few seconds you spent outdoors. The space was filled with a soft din of papers being moved and whispered voices. Hey, you seem kind of distracted on the ride here. Just enjoying the day. I'm excited to see Derek. Oh, Derek's back. Want to walk around for a bit? I'm just enjoying the day. We're having a nice day. Cove looked dubious at the vague answer. Why are you looking dubiously at me? Okay. What? Don't you think it's nice out? It's pretty much always nice out here. I mean, you're not wrong, Cove. Your study buddy was standing at the front of the library by a long rack of magazines. Derek! Predictably, he was flipping through one of his various sports players on the cover, looking intense enough to burst off the page. His head snapped up when you walked over, beaming wildly. Who else is here then? Is it just us three? Hey, Princess. Cove. Hi. Were you waiting for a while? Not super long. Derek put the magazine back in its place, then he gestured to the space at his side. Most of the tables were empty, only a few people were leafing through books. There's plenty of room. An unspoken agreement, the three of you started moving towards the seating area, Derek taking 2 steps for every one of Cove's. Oh, guess what? I'm pretty sure I've mastered the fake shot. I'll show you some other time. What the fuck is a fake shot? What is that? Derek looked over to gauge the level of interest. Do you know it? Soccer is not really for me. How does it go? Cove, you look like you play soccer. Derek's eyes flashed with excitement as he explained. Well, you move the ball like you're gonna go one way, then... He demonstrated by running a few steps ahead, showing off some fancy footwork. Sir, this is not behavior for inside of the library. Take this nonsense out. Take it out. You're doing the most. You do it like this, so it does it like that. You laughed, bobbing your head at his attempt to get the trick across with no ball. Shh! The three of you looked over at the checkout desk. The librarian stood behind it and was wearing a deep frown. You felt bad, you were apologetic. I'm gonna apologize, because I can't stand when the librarian's upset with me. You mouthed sorry and she sighed before turning back to the book she was reading. Derek scratched his neck, choosing not to let that derail things. So, what are you guys working on? What weren't you working on? There were some things you had gotten to start with. You had to start a single assignment. You had to start a single assignment because you didn't feel like it. I mean, I started on something. But it was still early in the summer, so there was a lot left. I think I'll work on my history assignment. I think I'll do math problems. I don't care. I don't know. Well, I mean, we're at the library, so let's do the history assignment because, I don't know how I'm going to do math at the library. We have to do this timeline thing. It made sense to work on that while you were here, since you'd probably need to consult the reference books. Exactly. See, big brain. There's some summer reading too. I have to go through an assigned book, but I'm going to do that later since it doesn't need extra references or anything. I've already finished the reading. Oh, good for you, Cove. Oh. It's not that long, and it was way more interesting than last year's book. Good to know. What about you two? I've got a few worksheets that look pretty easy, but my school gave us 3 books to read. Can't they just stick with just one? That's how I felt. That's how I felt going into AP English 3. My teacher assigned like 3 thick ass books and I read them and I didn't like a single one of them. I'm also doing the timeline. You all found a table close to tall bookshelves and set up camp. Within seconds, pencils and folders and books were strewn out on the surface. You focused on your work, you doodled. Ooh, just looked out the window. I'm doodling. Let's make some doodles. You lightly sketched on the paper, your tongue poking out between your lips as you did. You were in the middle of attempting a shark with toothy jaws. Such a signature thing. Open wide when you felt someone looking at you. Who's looking at me? You glanced up, seeing Cove looking out over your scribbles. No, I'm hiding my paper. Don't look at my scribbles. Cove's eyes rose to meet yours. It's nice. Are you gonna do the rest? At the second dorsal fin? Can you mind your business? Make your own shark if you want to say stuff about my shark, okay? Do your own shark. It's probably gonna be better than mine, but still. He pointed to a spot on the unfinished shark. Yeah, thanks. You pushed forward with your scribbly creation. After some time, Cove shifted in his seat, twisting his back as if trying to work knocked out of it. Feeling antsy? You paid enough attention to Cove to recognize when he was no longer feeling comfortable. Yeah, I'm gonna wander around for a bit. See you. I'm gonna stay here. I'm making good progress. I'll come with you. You might as well take the opportunity to refresh yourself before getting back to work. It's good to take breaks when you're doing work. Enjoy yourself. Give yourself like 20 minutes for a break, maybe 30. And, when you're done with your little break, go back to what you were doing. Sometimes it's hard to do that, though. You gotta know how long you can do things before you get too distracted. It takes a long time to know that. I still don't know how to do things. So, the two of you strolled away from where you've been working. Your eyes roamed over the titles of books as you passed by. Some were dull, some intriguing, and others were just strange, but you didn't spot anything that made you pause and pick it up. Looking for something? The reading assignment is more than enough, always. No, but something might catch my eye. Always. I'm always looking for a good book. I tear through books. I might go out of here if there's enough time. What do you mean go out of here? What does that mean? His comment reminded you of the clock ticking away. Even after you'd finished your work for the summer, the countdown to the new school year would still be on track. Before you know it, he'll be back at class. Yeah, we just got out and it's almost here again. Are you looking forward to going back? Cove rubbed his arm, drawing your attention to the scar he'd earned as a reckless kid, with his far-off gaze. Not really. I don't want summer to end. That's not me. I want summer to end. I hate summer. I like learning stuff, but the way school does it, you are completely right. Fuck school. School is terrible. They don't teach you shit there. They should, though. And they don't. I want to grow up already. Cove didn't feel safe knowing it was others who really determined what his life was like. You understood that much. You know what? Valid. You touched him softly. You smiled supportively. You shrugged casually. You shrugged. Why am I Now I'm not gonna touch him. I'm gonna smile. I believe in you, buddy. You caught eyes and looked on understandingly in a way you hoped was comforting. But there's a chance we could end up in the same class. That would be nice. You nodded, glad that he was cheering up some. Trust Cove to look on the bright side. I'd like that. A smile spread across his face, crinkling his eyes. What about you? Do you want to go back to school already? Yeah, I'm ready for school to start. No, I don't want summer to end either. I like summer, but I'm ready to go back to school. I don't know, man. You hadn't let yourself consider it much. There was really no getting away from the topic of school right now. It prompted you to think back to the classes you were in. You pursed your lips. History class was the one you were looking forward to. English was enjoyable. Math class kept your attention. Science class fascinated you. You wanted to enroll in the art class. I really enjoyed art class, so I think I'll do art. It wasn't mandatory at your school, but you definitely hope to participate. I half liked history. No, I did like history. I love the medieval era. The medieval era of history was my favorite era. There's so much out there to learn when it comes to the past. It would take ages to know everything. I liked English too. You liked the books we had to read in English. The writing assignments were engaging too. No, they weren't. You're lying. I never really liked science, but I was good at science. And then I didn't really like math either, but then I became good at math, and I've lost every single ability. Every single thing I used to be good at, I'm no longer good at it. And that's all. Fuck science, fuck math. But don't. Science and math are important, but not for me. Each lost in your own thoughts, you continued to stroll through the library for a little while longer until Cove caught your attention again. We should probably head back. Yeah, let's go. Actually, I'm gonna be right back. I have to use the bathroom. I drank like a whole liter of water, so BRB. Okay, I'm back. Had to have my short little bathroom break. What is this? What is this? Oh. What is this? Sorry, I'm checking my Discord. I got a notification. Okay. Cute. Okay. Let me get everything situated again. Oh, I don't need two of these. Okay. And we're back. Before you could take a step back, Cove cleared his throat, avoiding your gaze. Thanks for listening before. Did I put the music back on? I did, okay. Anytime, it's cool, you're welcome. Don't make a habit of it, I'm not gonna say that. Anytime. Cove smiled, his cheeks pink. You jerked your head towards where Derek had been left studying. Time to get back to work. Cove and you rejoined Derek. Why did I say his name like that? Derek. And settled back in as quietly as you could manage. Work continued as normal from there. Oh, where's he going? The sound of shuffling dragged you out of your head. You looked up and surprised to see Derek packing up. You're done? Derek casually shrugged, but you could tell he felt proud to be first finished. Okay. Uh-huh. Told you it wasn't anything hard. Wish mine was that easy. Was it even worth coming to the library for that? What are you gonna do now? I wish mine was that easy. Want me to look over it? Maybe I've got some tips that'll help. Okay, Derek. That'd be great. Thanks. Sure. He's got me. He's got my back. Love it. Thanks, Derek. Bestie. With a smile, Derek leaned over your part of the table. He took some time to get the gist and point you in the right direction before turning it back over to you. Derek leaned on the back of his feet. Okay, I'm gonna look around while you guys finish. See you. Bye. See you. Did he look over my work? Did he give me help? What was that? What was the purpose? Hold on. What was the purpose? I'm stunned. I'm shocked. Later on, Cove shifted in his seat, closing his book as he looked over the notes he'd been taking. Glancing away, you contemplated what you had done thus far, too. You finished most of the assignments. You say there was about half. You still had a long way to go. You spent most of the time being able to focus. I'd say I spent its half. But if I'm being honest, if my crush was there with me, I probably would not get a single work done. But I used to do stuff very fast back in my youth. My youth. Just as you thought it hadn't been that difficult, you were sure you'd be able to complete your other work next time. Derek's advice made it easier in the end. What advice? All he did was look at my paper and say bye. Are you about ready? It's almost 4. Yeah, I think so. Come on. The both of you gathered up your books, and after returning the ones you'd use for reference to their proper shelves, you set off to find whatever Derek had wandered off to. He was in the biographics section. But no, not biographics, the biographies. His back was to the two of you. You had one hand above his head and the other supporting himself against the shelf as he strained to grab one of the books. I'm so upset with myself. Hey, Derek, we're ready. Oh, okay. He leaned towards the sound of your voice, then he leaned up towards the shelf he was trying to reach. That was a struggle you knew all too well. Do you need any help with that? Derek frowned, his eyes flicking to Cove for just a second before shifting to look at the floor. Yeah. Thanks. Which one? Derek directed Cove towards the book he wanted. It was an autobiography of someone you'd never heard of before. He's probably a sports person. And then the three of you moved to the front of the library to wait for your rides. You stood close to the window and let out a content sigh, feeling the rays warm you from the slightly chilly library interior. I wish our assignments were more exciting. You started to space? Got any plans after this? Gonna work on my technique. Can't get rusty while school's out. You know what? Good for you, Derek. I'm proud of you. Look at you, sticking to something, staying with something. Not me. I was switching it up all the time. The answer was inevitable. Technique for what? Soccer. How about you two? The words you two echoed in your mind. You knew that what Derek meant, but why was it bringing a smile to your face to be linked with Cove even in the most tenuous circumstance? Ugh, we're down bad. We're down bad. Nothing planned. Me either. Oh, that's my dad's car. Derek lifted a hand to wave, pushing the door open and heading towards the blue pickup truck waiting in the parking lot. See you, Princess. Bye, Cove. You watched Derek jog off, scanning the area for your mom. Did you get everything done? Let's chastise him. Yeah, I've only got some thicker paper to draw the final draft on. I saw you're basically done. You smiled impressed. You felt pretty good about that. I feel like I'll need to come back to the library again before summer's over. I'll come with you. I still have some stuff I can do. Sure, Cove. Sure. Doesn't his hair look like seaweed? It's kind of relaxing in a way. You smiled at the idea. Despite not working on the same thing, it'd be nice to have some company, wouldn't it? I guess. We're so codependent on each other. I'm good with that. Hey, do you want to do something with me after this? Oh, sure. Cove seemed eager towards the offer. You hadn't exactly expected him to say no, but the agreement still made you happy. The two of you smiled at each other. Cove looked away for a second, and so you did too, fidgeting with the hem of your shirt. It wasn't long before you spied your mom's car coming down the road. There she is. Time to go then. You climbed into the car, sliding into your usual seats and buckling the seatbelts. Hey kiddos, did you get a lot done? Yeah. Nice. The car shifted into action. You watched as the library shrunk into the distance. It wouldn't be the last time you saw it this summer. Even better, you were going to have good company with you. You were already counting down the days. You fielded questions from Mom while you tried to juggle a conversation with Cove. When she learned you two were planning on returning, she immediately offered to give you a ride next time. Okay, weird. You continued to answer Mom's questions about what you'd been working on, then told her about your plans to stick with Cove after getting back. There was something knowing in her smile that made you pause, just for a moment. Okay, Mom, shut up. Well, soon enough, the trip was over. You had to arrive back to your neighborhood. Cove had to run over to his house real quick to drop his stuff off. You also made a pit stop to put your backpack away before heading out again. The two of you regrouped in the middle of the road, halfway between your houses. With everything wrapped up, you could now freely enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Your conversation resumed as you both began walking down the street together. The afternoon came and went, dinner was eaten, and you were cleaning up the dishes left behind from it. Cove had elected to stay for a meal today. He passed you a couple of plates to rinse in the sink. Even though he didn't have to, Cove asked to do at least something to help. You scrubbed the last of them and let out a satisfied relief. A satisfied sigh, not a satisfied relief. Oh my god. Okay, they're done. I'm going upstairs now. You addressed your guests for the evening. Are you gonna come with me? Yeah. Not my mom's allowing him to come upstairs with me. You know what, we already established this. Or did we? Was this when he snuck in, or is this when... I think we came up here during the daytime. But were they home? I don't think they were home. My moms were just gonna let this grown teenage boy into my room with me? Crazy. Yeah, I don't have to go back till later. What do you mean till later? It's late. It's late right now. It's later. Take it easy, kids. Thank you for the help. When you got back to your room, you noticed your backpack from earlier. You figured it would be best to unpack the stuff you needed before going to bed. Cove plopped into your desk chair and spun around a little bit as he got comfortable. He watched you contentedly as you walked across the room. He didn't need or expect you to try entertaining him constantly. It was just nice to be near each other, even when nothing was going on. Too bad that doesn't happen for Gil. I'm constantly bothering him. I'm so annoying. You hefted your bag up into the bed. It sunk into the comforter. With that, you started to sort through books and paper packets. I was putting my bag on my bed. Ew. I mean, I do that all the time, but still, ew. Not all of it were things you need anytime soon. A small pile of the most important assets began to grow at the side of your backpack until you'd gone over it all. You'd actually finished flipping through the contents, but that wasn't all of your work. You instinctively pulled the opening closer to you and peered inside. A second look through commenced, and a third, and then you began to open the smaller pockets. You were missing your history assignment. Did Derek thief my history assignment? Princess? By this point, Cove could tell something was wrong. That was part of your summer work that you had gotten done, and now it was gone. It hadn't been that noteworthy before, but the bag wasn't really zipped when you had first begun to look through. The work could have fallen out somewhere if you had it in the first place. You were upset by the revelation, but made yourself stay calm. You started to panic. All you could do was shrug. Your stress level shot up. It was best to think positively. You felt paralyzed. I'm panicking. The assignment could be anywhere. You were never going to get it back. It's gone, and now you're going to have to replace everything you did for it. This is definitely my thought process. My history work isn't in my backpack. At your word, Cove jumped out of his seat. Ugh, love this. We love a, what is it called? A shooter? Yeah, we love a shooter. Oh crap, is there somewhere we can look? The bag was kind of open, so he winced sympathetically, then left a lot of the options for whatever it might be, most of them bad. You made a sudden bolt for the other side of your room. You started to scour the spot the backpack was originally in. With nothing in sight there, you expanded the search to the rest of the space. Cove did his best to stay out of your way while keeping an eye open for your missing work. It was a frantic and ultimately fruitless effort. Your assignment wasn't here. Let's check downstairs. It might still be in your house someplace. Fine. Why, hello again. Is everything all right? You told your mom what was going on. You gave a rambling explanation of the situation. You answered her with a raised voice. Mom, I can't find my shit. No, it was. I had it. I did it. But when I was getting it out, it wasn't there. And I don't know. My schoolwork is missing. This was definitely getting to you. You have things that you want to do, that you need to do, and instead you have to worry about this. Sweetie, I'm so sorry. What's missing? An assignment for school from the library today. Mom's eyebrows raised with concern at the answer. That's a pickle. I'll call right now. I think they might still be open. What time does the library close? Thanks, Mom. Don't worry about it. That's not going to help. Thanks, Mom. You're welcome. Just leave it to me. Cove, honey, can you tell us if there was anything you noticed? You're with Princess, right? You think this man's got a photographical memory? He is not a camcorder. I saw that assignment when Princess had it out at the library. I don't remember them putting it away, but I'm pretty positive there was nothing left on the table when we were done. He spoke resolutely. Before now, he hadn't considered that something might have been left behind. You had felt the same when leaving, though it was hard not to second-guess things now. Your mom re-entered the scene a few minutes later. The look on her face was not promising. I feel like Derek thieved my paper. So I got a hold of from the librarians. They don't have any papers with your name on it. Not that they could see, anyway. I'm sorry. Thanks for trying. Okay. Thanks for trying. At this point, I would be crying. Of course. Sorry it was a bust. It's not your fault. Princess, hey, let's go over to my house. I can check my bag. Maybe I took it when we were packing up and didn't notice. Good idea. I don't want to. Alright. It's not gonna be there. It's not gonna be there, Cove. I think it's still worth trying. There was a leading tone to his quiet voice. You got the impression this wasn't just about another place to look. You were stressed over the situation here. He was trying to give you an out. Let's go. Cove nodded and made his way to the door. Your mom stood by with okay, it's just mom, stood by with creased brows. Take care, kids. Good luck. Bye, moms. You briskly made the trip across the street, and in less than a minute, you were going through the threshold of Cove's house. Cove had been in a rush earlier, too. His backpack was tossed on the couch without a thought, not a sight. I was going to say sight. No one had moved it since then. Oh my gosh. You can sit down, or anything. I'm gonna look. He lifted up the backpack and unzipped it in a fluid motion. You were left to wait as he rooted around inside with an unexpected level of seriousness. There was no way you could relax right now. You were actually calming down. There's no way I could possibly relax right now. You leaned closer, trying to get a peek into what he was seeing. Every second of not knowing made you more tense. Your impatience didn't go unnoticed. He tore through the contents rapidly. Cove, I'm so sorry. But when I'm stressed, everybody's gonna be stressed. No one's knowing peace when I am not at peace. Until Cove's eyes drifted from the opening of the bag and traced the length of the room's floor. His arm was still tucked away inside, but the search was over. Your heart sank. It was obvious there wasn't much of a chance. Cove somehow had it this whole time. So, you wanted to hope. You know what I want? I want a sandwich. I want Subway. But you know what we're having for dinner? Shrimp. And not like regular shrimp where you can like fancy it up. It's butterfly shrimp. It's frozen butterfly shrimp. Now why would Gil do this to me? Why would he buy frozen butterfly shrimp? Butterfly shrimp is only good when it's like freshly prepared and battered. This is pre-battered. Already frozen. It's gonna taste like freezer. I'm upset a little bit. I am upset. But only a smidgen. I'll get over it. But I want Subway. Finally, Cove lowered his backpack to the floor while slipping his arm out, and he wasn't empty-handed. Cove extended a few papers your way. Here. Are you going to rewrite my paper for me? Your eyes flicked down at the assignment that went right back up to his face. That's your copy. No, he's so sweet. Cove, I cannot take this paper. It goes against my morals as a person to plagiarize. It's different if it's a worksheet, but if it's an actual paper, I can't do it. It goes against everything I believe in. I don't believe in much, but I believe in that. In the almost silent room, you could hear the slight crinkling of papers as his fingers gripped tighter. His expression was just as firm. No, it's yours. Thank you, Cove. I can't take that from you. I appreciate you want to help. That's not okay. That's cheating, are you sure? Cove, I can't take that from you. Why not? The assignment and grades, they're important to you, and, you know, you're important to me, so... He said I was important to him. Oh my god, this is so cute. He flatly dropped the papers at your feet, refusing to meet your eyes. I think I did pretty good with it. The mark shouldn't be bad. You thanked him for what he was trying to do, you hugged him. You insisted he shouldn't go through with it. I'm gonna hug him. Without another thought, you threw your arms over his shoulders. The papers scattered. After a second of stunned motionlessness, Cove returned the gesture and wrapped himself around you. Cove's consideration made you feel good. You felt terrible about all this. You were teary-eyed over the gesture. I sure am. I'm a crybaby through and through. If it was too much, it was too much, and tear droplets began to sting your eyes. Please don't cry, princess. He didn't let you go as he began to speak again. Missing an assignment is something that doesn't bother me. I mean, you've known me long enough to see what does upset me. The statement had started out lighthearted, but it quickly shifted to one much more serious. You were always there. He leaned his head into you affectionately. Oh my god, are we gonna kiss? It made your heart pound against your chest. Then the moment was interrupted by the piercing ring of the Holden home phone. You wordlessly stared at one another with raised brows. Cove's mouth formed a tiny frown. Kyra appeared from the hall on the far side of the living room, summoned by the noise. Cove robotically took his arms off you. Not robotically. Pinning them securely against his sides instead. You don't know if she noticed or cared, but he was embarrassed. Hey, Cove. Hi, princess. I didn't know you were here. She strolled on past. Your eyes followed her. Cove's mom answered the call, giving a chipper greeting to whoever was on the other end. A few uh-huhs and mm-hms later, Kyra thanked the person and placed the phone down once more. Princess, that was your mom. She said your stuff was in the car. Bless. Bless Mom for checking the car. She a real one. Really? That's what I was told. Now just return to the guest room and you can have your privacy. Oh my god. His mom. I love his mom. His mom's a real one. Code's face cycled from shock to sour as his mom made her escape laughing. He shook the interruption off and refocused on you. I love, though, how these parents are so supportive. My parents were not supportive about my crushes. I was so afraid to get a boyfriend. Like, I physically, was shaking and everything when I got asked out in high school. Like, I was like, yeah, I can't do this. The next day I had to break up with them. I was like, I can't do this. My parents are I'm gonna get in trouble. Because I had a boyfriend in middle school for like a month. And then my dad found out about it. And you know what he did? He took my phone. He took my cell phone. And he took my cell phone, right? I went to school the next day. Everybody was talking like, oh my god, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. What's wrong? And he was like, oh, didn't you and Andrew break up? And I'm like, what? We didn't break up. What the fuck are you talking about? And I got home and I looked at the text. And he broke up with me through text. Everybody knew except for me. And I'm over here like, no, we didn't break up. So the pain. I don't want to go back to that ever again. He shook the interruption off and refocused on you. They've got it. You were so relieved. You were so embarrassed. You couldn't believe it. You didn't know how to react. I'm relieved. I'm not embarrassed. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. We all know I'm a crybaby. We all know I'm dramatic. I'm not embarrassed. This is just who I am. It was back. You had your work, and that's what mattered. They've got it. Coast nodded crookedly and shrugged one shoulder. You know what? I did dox Andrew a little bit. Fuck you, Andrew. We should probably head to your house. Your moms might want to talk too. Yeah, my parents really care about me. I read Cove's wrong, but oh well. They had kept searching even after you left, and because of that is all worked out. Cove nodded in agreement. Cove, it means a lot that you stuck with me. Thanks. Cove's a real one. We're gonna be so in love. He brightened up with sparkling eyes. This is the moment where it changed from crush to in love for me. Anytime, princess. While stepping toward the door together, that was a thought in your head that you knew to be true. You're going to be there for one another when it came to the big things and with the small things. Oh, that was so cute. Okay. I'm trying to decide how much time we have left. We might be able to make it through the rest of adolescence, but if not, that's okay, because we'll be back. We'll be back with this again on Thursday. Dinner! Sunlight shone through the windows as you sat in your living room, your home phone pressed to your ear. Cove was on the other end. It had been shaping up to be an ordinary day like any other until Cove had called unexpectedly. He sounded unusually nervous greeting you. You listened silently as he kept talking, his words stilted. So, I was just wondering, do you want to come over to my house for dinner tonight? Ooh, tonight? The question came out strangely, almost like he rehearsed it a few times beforehand. Your eyes widened a little. You hadn't expected this to be the reason behind the call. Yeah, I'll go, I can't. You kept listening. Sure. Why not? It was, huh? Oh. It seemed that Cove still had more to say. I don't care what else you have to say. I'm coming over. Thank you for the invitation. I'm never leaving now. And you just interrupted him. Oops. Cool. Well. He stumbled for a bit, trying to gather his thoughts again. My mom and dad, they really wanted you to be here. So if your parents don't have a problem with it, they asked me to ask you. You took a moment to think. Dinner at home would be quiet and uneventful today. If you really wanted to, you could go to Cove's instead. Cove spoke up again, breaking your thought train. His voice was softer than before. Also, I want you to be here too. Can you come over? Yeah, I can come. I'll have to ask my moms and get back to you. No, I can't make it. Why am I the only one invited? Do you, or did you mean the whole family? I'm not gonna say that. I'll have to ask my moms and get back to you. Okay, tell me when you can. He sounded noticeably relieved by your response. Was coming over for dinner today that serious? What are we gonna have for dinner? He spoke to you for a little while longer to explain what time to come over and other details, then hung up. And that was that, for now anyway. You called Ma right afterward and she picked up on the third ring. It wasn't a long conversation. When you asked to go to the Holden house for dinner, she was more than happy to give permission for it. No problems there. Ma wasn't one to complain about you spending time with Cove. Cove got a quick call from you afterward, so he knew for sure that you would attend the dinner. Then he said your goodbyes and went on with the afternoon. Soon enough, the sun dipped out of the sky and evening came. It was time for you to head to Cove's house. What are we having for dinner? What do you guys want for dinner, if it's dinner time or close to dinner time for you? I already said what I wanted. Am I gonna get it? No. But we can all dream. We can all have hopes and dreams and wishes. After letting Elizabeth know that you were leaving, she didn't look away from the TV, just grunted. You made the small journey across the street. That's weird though. Like, I'm not a sandwich person, but the Great Garlic from Subway, the number 8. Oh my gosh, that shit bopping. I don't like tomato, so I don't get it with tomato. But I make it my own way. So it's got most of the stuff on it. When I use like flatbread, because I prefer flatbread than like the regular bread. But that shit's so fucking good. I want one. I want one so bad. But I won't have one. You knocked a couple of times on the heavy door to their condo. As you waited for the answer, you found yourself contemplating being a guest while both of Cove's parents were there. What an interesting arrangement that should be. It was exciting, you were apprehensive, the idea made you curious. You couldn't say you were I'm curious. You wonder why they decided to invite you out of the blue. Maybe you'd find out later tonight. You didn't get too much time with your thoughts though. The door opened, sure enough. Cove's mom, Kyra, stood in the frame, smiling warmly at you. Hey, princess, welcome. Please, come on in. She opened the door wider and moved to make room. You stepped inside, allowing her to shut it behind you. Thanks so much for coming over. I know it's kind of last second. Thank you for having me. Of course, just make yourself at home. It's not my home, but I've been given permission to say that. Hey, princess, welcome to our humble abode. You jerked your head towards the sound of Mr. Holden's voice. He waved at you briefly from the kitchen with his back turned and a large spoon in hand. Hope you're hungry, because I'm whipping up a lot of tasty stuff. True to his word, you heard something sizzling on the stove. Oh, I think I remember what we're having. I think it's fajitas. I think we're having fajitas for dinner. Not me, but in the game. You closed your eyes and inhaled. It smelled spicy and savory. With Mr. Holden busy, Cove nowhere to be seen, it was just you and Kyra. She gave you a wry smile. Oh. He sure is. Well, I've been barred from cooking the entire time of staying here. Can you believe it? She nudged you with an elbow. Mr. Holden scoffed good-naturedly, then spoke from over his shoulder. You're on vacation, Kyra. You need to accept that already. She yelled back, amusement obvious on her face and in her tone. People still cook when they're on vacation. Everyone's gotta eat. It's not like I'm some celebrity who can go out for every meal or hire a private chef. Well, in this house, you're a VIP. Tell him, Mr. Holden. Kyra smiled and shook her head quietly. Then she turned to face you once more. Sorry about that, princess. Here I was, trying to strike up a conversation with you, and Cliff just had to butt in. I don't butt in. She eyed him, chuckling in disbelief. He wasn't exactly disproving her point with that. It's one thing about Mr. Holden, he will butt in on a conversation. Kyra leaned over to whisper to you. It's okay. He just likes to be included. But since Cliff insisted on cooking all by himself, he'll have to wait. The two of us can chat. Her next question continued to be said in a hushed tone just to be safe. So, how are you doing? I'm doing good. Oh, I'm okay. Things are okay. Things are good. Are you sure? Oh, I'm good. I'm okay, yeah. Carrie didn't seem too convinced by your awkward phrasing, but she nodded anyway. She opened her mouth to say something more, but some lightly pounding footsteps caught your attention. You checked to see Cove emerge from the hall a few minutes later. He might have heard all the commotion and left his room to see what was going on. He quickly took stock of the situation. His cheeks tinted pink at the sight of you standing in his living room, and his hand came up to rub his arm almost bashfully. Princess, you made it. Thanks for coming. Cove's voice was unnaturally loud, as if he thought you wouldn't be able to hear him from where you were, only a few feet away. Hi, Cove. You doing okay? Yeah, I'm fine. He didn't seem convincing at all. You narrowed your eyes suspiciously, but didn't call him out on it. If you could talk to him alone tonight, maybe you'd ask him what was going on then. It was when you glanced away from Cove that you spotted his parents watching the two of you interact. Cove noticed their stares too, meeting them with narrowed eyes. Ugh, parents. Parents, am I right, guys? I'm gonna be like them. If I ever have a child, I sure am gonna be like them. Like, ooh, look, my child's got a little crunch. It's so cute. I'll probably tease them a little bit, but not like a lot. Just a little. Are we having dinner now? Not yet, bud. No, I'm still cooking. Alright, I'm gonna go back to my room. As he turned to leave, he bent his head to the side to face you. You coming? The question was quiet, but you heard it clearly. You smiled, pleased that he asked, and nodded in the affirmative. Cove turned fully and made his way down the hall. Have fun, you two. We'll call you when food's ready to go. Why would she say that to me? Why would she say that to me? With that, you followed after Cove. The two of you made your way down the hall. This was the first time you were invited to see Cove's room. You had visited Cove's room before, but only rarely. Going to Cove's room was a standard occurrence for you nowadays. I visited his room before, but only rarely. Cove got to the door first, opening it and stepping inside. You joined him. There was a mat on the floor in front of the door. As you stepped over the threshold into his room, you felt the crunch of sand beneath your feet. Why this man got sand in his room? The only room in the house that got sand, and is yours. Why? The sensation was nothing new to you, of course. Cove constantly came back to his room covered in sand, not bothering to clean himself off at the front door, and got it all over his personal space. Yeah, loft bed? Okay, I see you. That's just how he was, a little bit of a mess. Okay, fix that. You hadn't heard Mr. Holden ever scold him for it, like your moms would have if you'd done it. Not like your mom's would have if you'd done it. Yeah, because Mr. Holden is a semi-absent parent. You can sit wherever you want. Cove himself took a seat at the edge of his large bed, looking like the picture of comfort, and left you to decide. Well, I wouldn't say he's semi-absent. You know what? I would say he's semi-absent. Like, yes, is he here? Does he love his son? Yes, but is he parenting him the way he should be parenting? Because if me and Cove live together, he better know I'm not cleaning up his sand. That's on him. He needs to clean that shit up. You're not gonna make messes after I just cleaned this house. You gotta clean that shit up, boy. He didn't sit anywhere. He sat down on the chair. He sat next to Cove's bed. I'm sitting down in the chair. Give me that chair. There was a desk chair in the room for a reason, after all. You walked over and rolled it out, taking a seat on it. It was stiff against your butt and creaked each time you shifted. He definitely used this bed space more often than his. Well, too late to complain now. You'll just have to deal with it. Cole frowned. He was actually disappointed you picked the chair. You want me to sit in your bed with you? He might have hoped you'd be closer. Oh my god, Cole. You were nervous about that. You smiled comfortingly at him. You chuckled over it. You felt very charmed by his reaction. I'm nervous. I'm nervous. Why are you sad? You raised his eyebrows. But you both kept noticing the other's every move. This is so weird. This is so weird. You only shrugged back. It's nothing. Don't worry about it. You're like an open book, you know. You're such a sweet guy, Cove. You're adorable. You're adorable. Clearly he hadn't expected that compliment. Somehow his flush grew worse. Spreading all the way down his neck, he fumbled for words. He gripped the blanket underneath him and searched for something more to say. See, and now it's good that I'm not sitting next to you. You'd probably try to put the moves on me. This isn't the time for moves, Cove. Did you see my fish? I got some in a tank right there. Yeah, I see them. Nice fish. Cove threw his hands in front of him to direct your eyes towards his pets. He was trying pretty poorly to change the topic. That much was clear. You decided to show him mercy and allowed it. You started to watch the bright fish swim. There were a bunch of them floating to and fro in the open space. They stood out starkly against the green aquarium plants. You recalled that Cove had owned fish since he was little, when his dad had gotten him some. He took caring for them very seriously. They looked to be doing well still. Most of them were small, but there was one especially big one. What are their names? I don't name them. Well, not really. He lifted an eyebrow at that. He continued to the explanation sheepishly. Now, you consider your fish pets, yes? Why are they nameless? Do you not care for your children? Are you out here being... I don't know what the word I want to use is. Neglectful? There we go. He's neglecting his fish by not naming them. Bad parenting. You lifted an eyebrow at that. He continued the explanation sheepishly. Mostly, I just call them things based on what they look like. Squirt for a small one, tangerine for a really orange one, that sort of thing. I've had a lot of fish and I'm not good at coming up with names, and that's okay. Just go with what your heart tells you. That's the best thing you can do when you're naming pets. You found that funny, you found that surprising, you found that relatable. It's funny. Who knew that was a weakness of his? It was an entertaining revelation. Oh, a couple of them have other types of names. He pointed to a small orangish red fish. It was minding its own business away from the others. My dad named her Dreamcatcher, and that one's Mark. And the other one's Mark. That's like mine. Mine's named Mark. Well, his name is actually Sharky, but his middle name is Mark. So I call him Baby Shark Mark. He's named after Mark from NCT. Mom came up with that one, of course. Your mom also stands NCT, I see. Cove smiled to himself, his eyes reflecting the glow from the tank. You let other people name your fish? I can't. His vocal line, it's nice. It gets me. It gets to me. Gives me quite a chuckle. He then turned to you, tilting his head to the side. There was a considering look on his face. Do you want to name one? Can I? His smile grew a little at your interest. Sure. There's a few who don't have names right now, the newer ones. You can pick which you want to name. He pointed each of the recent acquisitions out to you. The first was the smallest fish in the tank. It was completely orange and zipped all over the place, running laps around the others. The second one was slightly bigger and red. Its tail was dotted with black spots, which almost resembled freckles. Interesting. The last fish was the biggest one. Its multicolored scales rippled under the bright light of the tank as it slowly made its way across the vast expanse. I feel like you need a bigger tank, buddy. You went with, I'm gonna go with the smallest fish. Cove only nodded at your answer, waiting on you to decide on a suitable name. You watched the fish you chose closely. As you did, a name eventually came to you. Frank Sunbeam Gill. What if... what if... Who's Gill? I don't think I put Gill in this game at all. I'm naming it Gill. I have to. Cove laughed unreserved at your choice. I guess Gill because fish, they have the gills. Cove laughed unreservedly at your choice. It was affectionate rather than insulting. I could have come up with that one. I wasn't gonna name it Gill, but the name was there, so I had to pick it. It was gonna be named Zipper. Zipper Gill. Alright, it's Gill. With that, his attention moved from you to the tank. He peered fondly at it and its inhabitants. He smiled proudly at Gill as it swam through the tendrils of the plants, disappearing, then reappearing soon after. You know, I'm not allowed to have pets in my house, not even fish. The corner of Cove's lips turned down at that. That doesn't sound fair. It's not like fish would make a mess of your house or anything. You just gotta take care of the tank and feed them and they'll be okay. I mean, but having fish is kind of expensive. Cause like all that water from one and like the upkeep, and then you gotta get a nice tank for them, and then you don't want them to be bored, so you gotta buy them little activities to do. Having a pet is so expensive. Like, is it the same as child rearing? No. Having a child is way more expensive than having a pet. But you're caring for a living thing, and that gets expensive because you want them to have nice things. You want them to be beautiful. Maddie, hey, how are you? Welcome in. What's good, Maddie? But yeah. Right, my moms can be strict over the weirdest things sometimes. I don't mind it too much. I get it. No, I want a pet. I want a doggy. No, I want a cat. I want a cat dog. They trust Elizabeth and me to go around the neighborhood alone, but they won't let us have a pet. It doesn't make sense. Maybe when you're old, maybe when you're even older, they'll let you. Probably not. Probably not. I don't know, they seem pretty against it. Your current conversation brought to mind a memory from years ago. You launched into it without any warning, earning you a brief confused look from Cove. One time, Elizabeth, came back from playing at the beach and just shut herself in her room. She only came down for food and then she ran back upstairs straight after. It was kind of weird. My moms didn't think much of it at first though. But then that night, Mom went into her room to say goodnight and started screaming. Mom and I ran over to see what happened. Lizzie had this huge lizard in her arms. That's crazy. That's crazy. She doesn't seem like the type. Hey, yo. Hey, Maddie. You're here? I know, I said hi to you earlier. I was asking you how you doing? How you doing? Close eyes. Oh, was an ad playing or something? I don't think one was playing. It might have been because pre-rolls. Yeah, it might have been the pre-rolls that happened. Cole's eyebrows rose at that and he leaned forward in interest. A lizard? Where'd that come from? Exactly. Elizabeth does not seem like the type of person who would have a lizard. I expect like a frog, maybe an amphibian, but a lizard? Nah, that's not Lizzie. Done with work hanging with Koki and Peach's server? Cool. I don't really know who that is, but cool. Hope you're having fun in Peach's server. Hope you're having a blast. Elizabeth said she saw it half buried in the sand and didn't know what it was. She pulled it out and got the answer, so she brought it home. She hid the lizard in her room for most of the day because she wanted to keep it. Mom and Mom were not happy. They worried about putting it out during night, but she was going to have to let it go in the morning. Lizzie was really upset. She did bring it back to the beach eventually, but she wouldn't talk to anyone for days. Yeah, I don't know Koki. I know Peach. He's a dog wolf boy? Okay. There's a lot of dog wolf boys out there, Maddie. But, yay, Koki. I hope you're having fun with Koki and Peach's server. When she did get over it, it was almost like it never happened. We laughed thinking back to that time. Elizabeth had always been stubborn, but when she was younger, she forgot grudges quickly. Now it wasn't so easy. What are you guys doing in her server? Just talking? Yucking it up? Cove had been quiet for most of the story, apart from the reveal of the lizard. He had a thoughtful look on his face. I can't even imagine what it'd be like to have a sibling. You gave serious thought to his statement before you told him. It's fun, there are ups and downs. You're lucky to be an only child. It was a nice idea in general, but Elizabeth is my sister. I don't know how to explain what it's like. There are ups and downs. There are ups and downs to having a sibling. It's fun to have her there when she wants to be there, but now Elizabeth barely feels like hanging out with me. Oh, why I feel that so hard. But my brother didn't want to be my friend anymore. Cove pursed his lips at the words, considering them quietly for a while. That's interesting. I think your family is cool. He didn't have much else to say, though while on the topic of your family, you considered your relationship with your moms too. They were absolutely the best. You got along with your moms. You thought your moms were okay. You found your moms to be difficult to deal with. You know what? Based off of everything we have developed here in this story, I feel like we get along with our moms just fine. We are a teenager after all. Most teenagers do not agree with this statement about their parents. You had disagreements with them, but at the end of the day, you loved them and they loved you, and that was what really mattered. My relationship with my parents when I was a teenager, oh my lord, it was so rocky. It was so rocky. It was not good times. A thought struck you, and your attention suddenly settled back on Cove. Yeah, my moms might not let Elizabeth or me have pets and stuff, but at least they never tried to pay someone to be my friend. You don't have to do them dirty like that. You didn't have to bring that up. That was such a bitch move. You grinned over at Cove. It had been years since he found out about your first meeting with his dad. It was easy to joke about these days. I mean, I wouldn't be joking about this. I feel like that would be like mean-spirited. Cove tossed his head back in an overly dramatic way, sighing heavily. I almost forgot about that. Really? No, not really. I'll never be able to forget that actually happened for the rest of my life. It's gonna humiliate me forever. Maybe if you weren't such a little shit growing up, Cove, your dad wouldn't have to pay people to be your friend. Hey, you're fine now. I enjoy your company. I'm glad we're friends. I'm glad your dad paid me $40 to be your friend. I'm really sorry about what happened, Cove. Then I'm sorry since I'm gonna bring it up forever. Yeah, I get why you'd be embarrassed. You laughed. I'm gonna laugh. Cove shook his head at your reaction, but he didn't say anything more on the topic. It was obvious he'd rather talk about anything else. Should I not have laughed? Maybe that was too mean. Time passed, and you didn't really notice, yeah. The two of you were busy making plans for the rest of the summer and chatting about your respective days. Hold on, my eye itches. Eventually, you heard a muffled holler from a different part of the house. You and Cove raised your heads in unison. It's time for dinner. Cove watched the firmly shut door he had been locked behind for most of the night, but he didn't make a move to get up from the bed. You couldn't see his face, so you didn't know what expression he was wearing. I'm glad you came. Cove peeked back at you from the side. It's been awkward. I get that. It's been hard on you, huh? You felt sympathetic towards him. You didn't know what he was going through, but you cared about him. Cove said nothing else and remained sat where he was. Now would be as good as any time to ask him why his parents so suddenly wanted you to come over. I will ask. I need to know. Is there a reason they wanted me to come over tonight? It hasn't been awkward for just me. Sometimes it gets like this when no one else is around, but now you're here. Huh? You hadn't considered that, but it sort of made sense in a way. There was another shout from outside, too muffled to actually know the words, but you can imagine what they were. Let's go. Okay. Cove finally got up, lumbering away with his shoulders sagged. You followed after him. Aw, why are you sad? Don't be sad. Together the two of you made your way back to the living room. As you expected, Cove's parents were politely waiting for you at the kitchen table. Beside the windows overlooking the back of the house, food had been prepared and set. Mr. Holden beamed at you as you and Cove took your places. I hope everyone's hungry. I cooked up a feast. I know I am. Yeah. Cove's mumbled response wasn't nearly as upbeat as theirs. His parents didn't notice, or they pretended not to. Mr. Holden instead looked at you, grinning. Let's all just take a moment to thank our special guest for being with us here tonight. I'm so glad you were able to make it, Princess, and on such short notice, too. You thanked Cove's parents for inviting you. You didn't say anything. You felt awkward about the situation. I'm going to thank them. I'm going to be nice. Be polite. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for both inviting me. Well, that's it. Everyone, please, dig in. You can help yourselves to the food. What do you make? What you make, man? Upon his encouragement, you looked over the meal spread out in front of you. There was a large garden salad in the center, surrounded by a variety of Mexican dishes. There were a lot of sides and optional sauces to add. So it's not fajitas? I thought it was fajitas. Quite a few had lots of cheese and sour cream and the like. Whether you decide to indulge in those options or avoid them, you had brought your pills from home to help your lactose digestion. Not me remembering my pills. I take these bitches everywhere, apparently. I'm not exactly a fan. We didn't like Mexican food. Mom loved it, but you'd usually pick at your food whenever you ate it as a family. So I am a picky eater. I don't like a lot of things. If it's a quesadilla, I'll eat a quesadilla. I like the barest of things sometimes. Utensils and plates scraped and clicked together as the group began filling their plates. Cliff, could you pass the salsa verde? Of course. Thank you. Let me just say, you really outdid yourself tonight. I'm so jealous. Jealous of what? Your cook is nothing to sneeze at, Kyra. Cove's parents made small talk, filling the silence with what seemed to be barely any effort. You chimed in as well. Did it take you a long time to cook all of this, Mr. Holden? Oh, not at all. Sure, this is more than I usually make for me and Cove, but I enjoy every second of it. Might have gone faster if you've had some help, though. Cove's mom grumbled, but it was lighthearted. Mr. Holden chuckled and shook his head. Not this again. I make the rules here and I say guests don't cook. Even when they're staying for literal weeks? Even then. Everything looks great, Dad, as always. Thanks, sport. Glad you think so. Cove smiled. It was genuine, even if it was strained at the corners. Brief silences interspersed the small talk. Once the food had been divided and everything settled, Cove's parents started talking again. Now then, you sat in your seat when you noticed they were both looking at you. How's everything been over at your house? Are your moms well? You've been keeping busy this summer? Or maybe you're just trying to take it easy during the break? You sure have a lot of questions, sir. You sure do ask a lot of questions. You feel overwhelmed with the sudden rush of questions. I definitely felt overwhelmed. You were blindsided by them. Your mind blanked. Then again, this was Mr. Holden. Maybe you should have expected this. You answered how things were at your house. You told them how your moms were. What do you think you've done this summer? I'll tell them about my moms. Moms are great. Moms were fine. They're the same as always. You should ask my parents about it yourself. I'm not gonna be mean. I'm not gonna be a little shit. They're the same as always. Work is a little stressful, but they said it's normal grown-up stuff and nothing to worry about. I know too well what it's like, unfortunately. I bet you do. I bet you do, sir. I'm gonna answer how things are at my house. It's been good, is what you say, but you didn't mean it. It's alright. It's not that great. It's alright. Though, it's not too bad. What things I do this summer? I'm not sure where to start. There's so much that happened. You should know that I've been up You should know what I've been up to since so much has included your family. I wouldn't say I've done a lot. I'm not a summer activities person. Smart choice. Take it easy and you can. When I was your age, busy work was the furthest thing from my mind. And that was that. Kyra nodded along. You could tell she was actually listening to your words you were saying. She was trying to include you, not humor you. Did you know, Cliff, Princess is really into art? Mr. Holden's face lit up and stopped eating so he could lean forward. His arms braced against the table. I mean, I'm not that into art. I do want to start drawing more. I'm getting better, but I'm not very well at it still. Oh, that's right. Very cool. It's just a hobby. It's not a big thing. It's not a big thing. Aw, don't downplay your interest like that. I mean, it's true. It's not a big thing. Kyra's right. If you enjoy it, then it's definitely a big thing. It's not. Thanks, but it's not. Calm down. Cove's parents were definitely the encouraging type, but you could already tell that much about them. I gotta shift in my seat. My foot's numb. There was a lull in conversation as everyone focused their attention on their respective plates. You noted for the first time that Cove's parents were the ones guiding the conversation. You wondered if you should break the silence this time. You brought up your own topic of interest. You left coming up with the conversation topic with them. I don't need to talk. This is not my house. Have fun talking. Mr. Holden was the one who spoke, glancing at his son before turning to you with an easy grin. Speaking of hobbies, Cove has been hitting the books hard. He keeps telling me all kinds of things I've never heard of. You had already known that since Cove is so open with you, but it was interesting to hear his parents' perspective on it. The rest of the dinner continued just like that, with light conversation as you ate your meals. Eventually, all the dishes on the kitchen table were pretty much gone. Kyra sat down her fork and rested her arms at her sides, letting loose a satisfied sigh. Her plate was completely empty. That was delish. Thank you for your culinary creations, Cliff. Mr. Holden was like a flower soaking up the rays of the sun. He beamed, flattered by the praise. You know what I'm curious of? Why did they get a divorce? I didn't want to ask because I didn't want to be rude, but they're getting along really well. And it's not like you can be friends after the divorce, yeah. But it's like, if you're this good together, why'd you really get divorced? Maybe you're better divorced than married, but I don't know. I'm just curious. I'm nosy and I probably should have asked, but I didn't want to be rude. I didn't want her not to like me. You get a good amount of to be polite. You ate a few things. You barely touched your food. You didn't eat anything. I like sour cream. I ate a few things. Mr. Holden wasn't a bad cook, but the food just hadn't been to your taste. Cove successfully kept his presence to a minimum for the full meal. He was slumped over, even now, toying with his silverware. His parents practically only talked to you. Most attempts to entice him to join the conversation failed. It wasn't typical for him to say so little. He at least tried to participate. You didn't get much time to contemplate Cove's situation because your attention was taken by Mr. Holden pointedly clearing his voice. Not to sound like a broken record, but thanks for coming, Princess. I'm glad we finally got the chance to have you over for a real dinner. What? Did I hear that right? This is the first time Princess has ever had dinner here? Why in the world haven't you invited them over sooner? That's a great question, Kyra. Cove was always the one going over to Princess's house until now. I mean, how was I supposed to reject the generous offers of the Rigel family to host my kid? Kyra shook her head, but the amused smile she was sporting told you that she wasn't actually mad. See, that's the thing, though. That's the thing, though. We've known each other for 5 years at this point, and this is the first time I've been over for dinner. Interesting. But look, I can't really talk because I still haven't seen my best friend's childhood room. I've never been over there. I was not allowed. It was off limits, and I probably never will see it. For the rest of my life, I'm gonna die knowing I've never seen my childhood best friend's room. And we're still friends. I went to their wedding. I was the maid of honor. But I've never seen their room. Kyra shook her head. With the amused smile she was sporting, told you that she wasn't actually mad. This guy, honestly. The three of you looked at Cove in unison, his small sound being more than enough to get the focus on him after his silence. But by now, he stopped fiddling with his fork. Would it be alright for Princess to stay over, like, for the night? Oh, that's a request. He shot you a shy glance, then smiling a little. If you're cool with that. Mr. Holden's shoulders stiffened. He sat up straighter. Where am I gonna sleep? Am I gonna sleep downstairs? Am I gonna sleep in your room? His eyes darting back and forth between you and Cove. His mouth opened, but not a peep came out. You'd never seen Cove's dad say no to him before, but this was different than the usual request. It wasn't so simple, and Mr. Holden was lost. Then Cove's mom reached out and took a hold of his shirt collar. She pulled him closer. What is she about to do? She glanced at you before leaning in, bringing a hand up in front of their faces. The two adults whispered seriously to each other. Why did she grab him? Why did she snatch him up by his collar? Cove's eyes opened wider. He leaned forward as if that would help him overhear his parents' conversation. Mr. Holden kept gesturing with his hands while Kyra made sure he didn't get too far away with all his movements. What kind of gestures are they doing with their hands? I need to know. Are you guys concerned about us being promiscuous upstairs? Because his dude already spent the night at my house one day. Every now and then, both of them would catch you and Cove out of the corner of their eyes. It didn't seem like they were fighting to you. They looked more like some kind of tiny sports team having a private huddle. After a bit, they broke the group up. They moved back to sit properly in their chairs. You stuck a look at Cove. He stared at them expectantly. You were eager to hear their verdict too. Kyra and I, think that should be fine. But, he lifted a finger dramatically, his brows raising as he met Cove's gaze and then your own. We'll have to talk with Princess's parents to make sure they'd be comfortable with it. If they are, we can arrange for a sleepover to happen on a different night, when everyone is more prepared. If Princess's folks don't like the idea, there's nothing we can do. He finished the mini speech with a wide shrug, using his full arms. He's so dramatic. He also checked Kyra from the corner of his eye and gave her a crooked smile. We stand Mr. Holden, though. He's kooky, he's crazy, but we love him. She nodded approvingly and grinned back. You thought you saw her give him a thumbs up, but her hand was partially blocked by the table. They looked so pleased with themselves over the answer, but they just passed the actual decision on whether it was alright or not to someone else, namely your parents. I don't know how my parents would feel about this. Like, in the game, I don't know. In real life, oh my god, this would never be an option. My very first date, I didn't even go on it alone. They were with me on my first date. I had my first date at 17. And they came to the movies with me and my date. And they didn't even stay the whole time. Which, like, yeah, okay, great. But at the same time, I kind of needed them there because that was the worst day I ever went on. If this was a sports game, they would have punted the ball away. Cove hung his head deflated. He had been hoping you could stay over today, not some hypothetical time in the future. I can just sneak back in your room. Oh, see? I'll sneak the phone into my room tonight. Hey, you could always sneak into my room again. You give him some words of encouragement, you pat him on the back. Hey, you could always sneak into my room again. Cove's eyes sparkled at the suggestion. You wouldn't be surprised to have him knocking on your window sometime. Though, he likely still would without the invite. With that, dinner finally came to an end. Mr. Holden stood up from the table and began collecting empty plates. Cove was asked to help out, which he did with little fuss. Kyra tried to lend a hand as well, however, Mr. Holden didn't let her. It seemed she was barred from cleaning as well as cooking. You weren't allowed to chip in either since you were there as the declared guest of honor. Although the meal was over, the night wasn't. It looked like you weren't going home just yet after all. You were asked to wait on the couch. While Cove and his dad were cleaning up the mess, Kyra disappeared down the hall after shooting you a wink. It was a bit strange sitting by yourself while everyone else had something to do. Luckily, you weren't alone for too long. After a couple of minutes, Cove's mom returned with a deck of cards in hand. She strolled into the room confidently while shuffling. So, who's up for a few rounds? Cove and his dad looked over their shoulders at the question. They were mutually intrigued by the cards in her hands. She beamed at their expressions and stepped further into the living room. Ignoring the couches, she sat cross-legged on the floor by the coffee table. She turned to Hugh and gestured at the space beside her, smiling invitingly. You accepted and followed her lead. The living room carpet was soft, though the hardwood floor underneath could definitely still be felt. Kyra did an overhand shuffle while she waited for the others to finish their task. The smile had yet to leave her lips. This is gonna be good. You were excited, you were nervous, you were bored, you were kind of annoyed. You enjoyed her enthusiasm. I'm nervous. Ma'am, what are you planning to do? You got through the dinner all right, but you didn't know how the rest of the evening would go. It didn't take much longer for Cove and his dad to wrap things enough to call it good. Cove's dad appeared first, followed closely behind by Cove. Mr. Holden rubbed his hands together in anticipation. All right, I'm ready. As he took a seat across from you on the floor, he noticed that Cove hadn't joined him. He went straight down the hall instead, without even a word. You stared on, confused, as he disappeared through his bedroom door. Cove's parents didn't look concerned at the stunt. Kyra nonchalantly split the deck of cards into two and rifled the house together while offering an explanation of sorts. Cove doesn't keep his wallet with him when at home. He puts it away. What? Cove quickly returned to the living room, a black wallet in his hand. He took a place at the foot of the table with the rest of you. You blinked as Cove unzipped his wallet. You all use real money on card games with family? That's crazy to me. Like, you gambling together? That's crazy. It's supposed to be a friendly game. When there's money involved, things get dangerous. That's so crazy that I'm about to finish this big-ass bottle of water. Maybe it's just because I can't shut up. But I'm thirsty. It's wild out here. While you were sat there, your hands idle in your lap, three shot looks at one another and sized each other up. Oh, this family's dangerous. That's right. $5 per round per person. Winner takes all. Per round per person. How many rounds are you gonna do? Cove, where did you get this money from? How do you have money for this? You don't work. You don't have a job. You get an allowance? Go big or go home. I think I'll go home, thanks. Oh, are you planning on kicking Princess to the curb? Or do you intend on donating to the guest of honor's pot, Mr. High Roller? Mr. Holden narrowed his eyes and leaned back against the side of the couch, completely at ease. If Princess wants to play, I'll fund their way in. Don't you worry about that. He rested an arm across the top of the knee that he propped up. Cove's dad was acting slick in a way you'd never seen before. You appreciate his offer. You joked that he shouldn't be so confident. You felt awkward about the situation. His surety in this was pretty appealing. You ignored it. I feel awkward. Personally. I feel awkward. If you'd known about this beforehand, you could have grabbed some money you had stashed away. I'm not grabbing money to play with these lunatics. They're over here playing real money. Next thing you know, we're going to be playing the lottery together. Or done something to prepare for this. Next thing you know, we'll be at the casino. On the slot machines. You can let me pay for Princess. They're my friend. Mr. Holden grinned with a chuckle. Alright, bud, I concede. You're too polite for me. Well, you got your ticket. Interested in throwing in? You glanced around. This seems like serious business. In response to their consternation, that's a word I have never seen before, Kara softened her competitive smile. Don't worry too much. We'll probably just do some rounds of goldfish tonight. No biggie. What do you think? I'm nervous. I'm a watch. I don't want any part of this. You're not gonna get gambling into my system. I don't really like playing. I'd rather watch. Mr. Holden shot you an understanding look while Cove nodded sympathetically. That's not a problem, Princess. Whatever you're comfortable with. We'll play for however long everyone wants to keep going, or until people start running out of cash, but are still refusing to quit when they're behind. Speaking for yourself, I see. With a laugh, Kyra nudged you using an elbow, then motioned towards the other two with her chin. Don't be fooled by their soft faces. These boys are sharks. In reaction to her words, Mr. Holden smirked and Cove's eyebrows became more angled. Oh my gosh. Why are his eyebrows like this? Like, I'm not talking shit on his eyebrows. They're very interesting. But like, his dad and his mom have very different eyebrows. You know what? I can't talk. I have eyebrows, but I've seen people actually have like squiggly eyebrows. I just find that so interesting. Where in his genetics did he get that from? Kyra's phrasing made you think back to when you were younger. When you were young. I can't read. I've lost my ability. Specifically, Mr. Holden's favorite shark pants that he used to wear all the time. Was he wearing shark pants? Perhaps they had been a fit for him in ways you didn't know of. You could feel tension in the air. Cove and his parents glued their eyes to one another, then all placed $5 bills in an empty space in front of them. Once this was done, Kyra began dealing out cards to everybody. It was time to begin. The first round came and went quickly, with the group getting into the groove of things. Kyra wasn't lying, the boys were sharks. They had a knack for figuring out who had which card. Ooh, they're counting cards. Ooh, that's illegal. You can't count cards. Still, Kyra managed to win the first round despite their ruthlessness, though it was very close. You might have won the battle, but watch out. Cove and I could just as easily win the war. Are you guys on sides? Are you on the same team? Better put your money where your mouth is. As the night went on, so did the games. Mr. Holden would jokingly shake his fist whenever someone other than him got a pair. This man is so crazy. I love Mr. Holden. He's me for real, for real. Kyra acted as a news anchor, reporting on every move everyone made by speaking into her curled fist. Cove was still a few words, but now it was because he was focused on the game instead of being overcome with awkwardness. Most of the time, you even spotted a smile on his lips. Cute. Despite all the trash talking, everyone ended up with rounds they won and ones they lost. It became clear that where the money went in the moment didn't really matter. They ended up giving it back to one another in other ways, and not just through more rounds of cards. You sat back looking over the scene. A tiny smile grew on your face. Cove's family was pretty cool, you thought. You were glad you got this chance to come over and spend time with the three of them. Okay. We got through 4 stories today. I am gonna end stream because it's getting a little late and I got things to do. So, let's do them. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Let me see. Let's go watch Grim. Grim Gaming is streaming. He's streaming Stardew Valley. It should be fun times. So we are gonna raid. I have a raid message. If you could copy and paste this raid message into Grim's stream when we decide to go over there, that would be so appreciative. I have no idea what that percent is there. Don't ask me. I don't know. But yes. So, I will be back to streaming tomorrow. Tomorrow we're doing a long Animal Crossing stream. I'll be back here at 11 a.m. The next time we play this game will be Thursday. So we'll finish up Adolescence on Thursday. But yes, thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a nice rest of your day, week, month, year, and life. And I hope to see you in the next stream. Bye!